Friday, coast to coast, the CFL is Canada's game. And the world comes after party, and we're ready for the fight.
Looking for Copeland, touchdown! He will go all the way.
It's Friday night football tonight. It's Friday. It's Friday night football tonight. It's Friday.
Henry Burris, the quarterback of the Calgary Stampeders, engineered a last-second comeback win against these Hamilton Tiger Cats a couple of weeks ago. Tom Higgins remembers that very well, and he hopes to do the exact same thing on the road tonight as we kick off a doubleheader here on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Dave Randorf with you, Chris Schultz, Matt Dunnigan, and Jock Climby. Later tonight, it's the Riders in BC to take on the Lions. The Stamps come in riding high atop the West for now with a record of 3-1. They had very high hopes in Hamilton as well, but those Ticats have stumbled badly out of the gate. They are 0-4. Greg Marshall has been fired. They desperately need a win, but Ticat fans, my friend here, Chris Schultz, has not one, not even two. You've got several reasons why the Ticats can get it done tonight.
4 to be exact.
Okay.
I am optimistic for these Hamilton Ticats that they may just get their first win tonight. And several reasons. Number one, Corey Holmes is back. In the punt and the kick return game, advantage Hamilton. Moss, he's good against the Stamps, 300 yards last time they played. Home teams are 12-3. And can Calgary play another outstanding game back-to-back, this time on the road in Hamilton? I'm not sure they can do that. So I'm optimistic for these Hamilton Ticats. We'll find out shortly. Are they going to win? Maybe.
Oh.
Oh, maybe. Well, Chris,
maybe.
If they are going to win, they're going to need two things. Not only the right execution, but the right attitude. You know, people who watch the show know that it's been driving me nuts watching the Hamilton Tiger Cats throw short, particularly on 2nd and long. And I'm going to show you an example of them throwing 5 yards when it's 2nd and 15. This is the wrong attitude, and it's the wrong execution because this guy's not going to get 15 yards. But against Montreal, here's what they did on 2nd and 1. They threw the ball down the field. That's the right attitude. Bad execution. 3rd and 1, they don't make it. Again, bad execution. But at least they had the right attitude now. 2nd and 1, go down the field, because if you're a pro football team, you should be able to get a yard. Now I want to see them bring that attitude and execution together.
A lot of people are asking me, what can Ron Lancaster change in 3 days? Well, he can change the attitude, and he can change the accountability. That defense has given up 5.2 yards per carry. They're going up against Joffrey Reynolds, who averages 7.6 yards per carry, best in the league. Joffrey simply knifed through a solid Saskatchewan defense, making them look like they're standing in mud. And I'm telling you, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have got their work cut out for them. James Cotton, heck, he's only got one hand. Last week, he's missing tackles because he can't wrap up. The Hamilton Tiger Cats across the board need some accountability. And in my opinion, this is one of the biggest reasons why, and I'll go back to Winnipeg because you hear this a lot from Winnipeg right now, accountability. Every one of those Hamilton Tiger Cats will need to step up, and certainly that defense playing against Joffrey Reynolds.
Maybe?
Maybe.
That's the best you can do. I built you up. I said, yeah, the people want to hear.
So you want a prediction? Calgary by 3. There you go.
Okay. I have it, but maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. We got lots coming up. Still to come.
Roddick out of the backfield, and Josh Roddick scores. Touchdown, Ticats.
Kickoff is next as Rod Black and Leif Pedersen have the call from the Steel City as the Stampeders square off against the Ticats.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Do Wendy's, do what tastes right. By Rona, proud league-wide sponsor of the CFL. And by Rogers Wireless. Rogers brings you 2006 FIFA World Cup video highlights on the latest MP3 phones.
Wendy Thurston of Lethbridge, Alberta, you could win a 50-inch Prima Plasma TV if a kickoff is returned for a touchdown in tonight's game, thanks to Safeway's Touchdown and Win promotion. If a second kickoff is returned, you win $1 million. To Hamilton, here's Rod Black and Leif Pedersen.
Thank you, Dave, and good evening, Canada. Welcome to Wendy's Friday Night Football from Iverwin Stadium, which is kind of like a sauna here tonight. It is hot, it is steamy, 30 degrees Celsius, and you can probably add a few more degrees on field. The Humidex 37 degrees. The forecast is hazy here tonight in the Steel Town. Tom Higgins, the Calgary Stampeders, very well could be 4-0. They are 3-1, and remember a couple of weeks ago escaped a squeaker over those Hamilton Tiger Cats when they were in McMahon Stadium. On the other side, no more martial law. The little general is back.
Well, you know, they talk about accountability with Ronnie back, and I know that he's talked to the players and has said, look, we got to have some fun. Sometimes that's easier than said when you're 0-4. And he also said what I thought was a little strange, be on time. So if players were late, I'm a little surprised that shows there has been some lack of discipline. But is this what Ronnie really wanted to do at this stage of life? I'm not so sure. He was asked to do it. He's going to fill a role. And I do honestly believe when he says it is interim, that is what it's going to be for him.
And another change this week, a brand new kicker for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Mark Myers. Back is Marcus Howell. Wes Cates takes the ball. Up the middle he goes, and he's stuffed at the 30. We bring on Henry Burris and the Calgary Stampeders. Here's the offense for the Stamps. Our starting lineups brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast.
Well, Henry Burris has really been on a roll, and because of this terrific receiving core we showed you in the pregame show, 3 out of the 8 top receivers in the league are a part of this group. An offensive line that has only given up 4 sacks, tied for best in the league with the Montreal Alouettes. So this group is functioning at an extremely high level. They're not making mistakes, and they are making it very tough for defensive coordinators around the league.
Well, we're not going to bring the offense on just yet, or will we? They're bringing the kick team back here, and the Stampeders are going to make the Ticats redo it. And I mentioned Mark Myers in for Jamie Borum, the beleaguered kicker here, who's had some confidence problems, of course, has only made 9 of 15 field goals and some back spasms recently. Myers from Florida Atlantic has been in Rockledge, Florida, kicking and practicing, and got the call up this week, and now he is in a Ticat uniform. And again, the kicking game has been a big problem with the Ticats so far this year.
Yeah, it really has. Jamie Borum wasn't getting the job done. Pat Fleming is having a very underachieving year as their punter, averaging less than 33 yards a punt, 38 yards a punt rather, but a net 33. So the kicking team has been poor, along with a very sporadic offense.
Myers again to Cates. And the penalty works out, in fact, for the Stampeders, and on the return they gain an extra 10 or 11 yards. And here comes smiling Hank Burris, and he's had a lot of reason to smile lately.
Well, he has, because his offensive group is a well-oiled machine. Those are the numbers for Hank Burris through 4 games, and I can tell you what's been one of the unsung features of how well he has played. He has really used his feet well to buy himself some time. I mentioned earlier only 4 sacks given up. Well, he's a big reason why. He has moved around outside the pocket. He's given his receivers extra time to get open, and his game is really at an all-time high.
We'll watch how they establish the run game as well with Joffrey Reynolds in the backfield. Play action. And to Jermaine Copeland to midfield. And a first down immediately. Hank Burris comes out throwing.
Well, the Hamilton defense is really under some pressure tonight. The front 4 pretty good defensive ends, and Cotton and Cheatwood, of course, the push up the pocket from Peterson and Adriano Belli. Bernard Cox, a defensive back, converted the linebacker. You'll see him drop into the safety, and Wayne Shaw come up. In the secondary, well, they've made some mistakes. Calgary's seen that on film, and don't be surprised if you see the Stampeder offense use a lot of motion to confuse those defensive backs.
Reynolds stuffed in the backfield, and just gets back maybe a half yard or so. Tim Cheatwood there to wrestle down Joffrey Reynolds.
And that's what the defensive line of Hamilton is going to have to do. Cheatwood coming from the outside. Watch how quickly he gets into the backfield. They're going to have to get that type of penetration as he comes back. No block on Cheatwood, and he comes in and makes the play.
So second down and 9 yards to go. Burris in the shotgun. Copeland to his left. Look out here. Burris avoids a tackle. Is hit, but throws it away downfield. And a good rush this time from the men in black.
Well, that's a good start for Hamilton. I mean, you know, you get a quick first down and then you know, 2 and out. And that defensive line is going to have to put some pressure on Henry Burris. Cavis Reed, the defense coordinator, talked to me tonight in the parking lot before the game, and he said, gosh, if we don't get pressure on Burris, we're in big trouble.
Guess who's back for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, too? Big story. They've missed this guy, Corey Holmes. Of course, made a big trade with the Saskatchewan Roughriders to get Corey Holmes. Last year, a runner-up for the most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League. Holmes has had some ankle problems lately. Back to his 5-yard line. Holmes dancing. Corey Holmes, there's a flag on the play, but brings it up to the 18-yard line. And they could not have asked Corey Holmes to come back any quicker as well, despite all of the coaching problems, the casualty of Greg Marshall, Jason Moss, of course, trying to get it into gear, and the kicking things. Corey Holmes was expected to be a star for this team this year.
Well, he's going to do a lot of things so well.
Hamilton 24, after distance to goal, first down.
Not unlike he did in Saskatchewan a year ago. He's going to return kicks. He'll play a little running back. He'll catch the football. He had 54 receptions last year, and I mean, he played all 18 games. He will not do that this year, but for the most part, he's a durable player, and he gives you a lot of weapons, a lot of ways to use him on offense.
Renard Cox, a holding call, backs up the Ticats to their 10-yard line. Fakes the reverse. Josh Wannick out of the backfield, and another guy that they really have to establish here. He's had some injury problems, but the little ball of hate has not been at his best so far this year.
Well, he hasn't, and the offensive line really hasn't opened a lot of holes. There you see Jason Moss, and Ronick will start. He's only averaging 2.8 yards a carry, certainly the lowest of his career. Now, this supporting cast at the receiving core, I'm not so sure. These guys have to step up their game. I mean, the best receiver so far is Flick at 8.8 yards a catch. That just won't get it done. Offensive line has not done a bad job in protection there.
Kwame Cavill is into the lineup this week for them. Catch is made, and a first down for Terry Vaughn. Terry Vaughn's the leading Ticat receiver with 17 catches. That's 18 now on the season.
Yeah, only 11 times in his career has he been over 1,000 yards. And again, a good move. Tony Tiller, the extra defensive back, is in, but when Vaughn is in at the number 3 receiver, he's got a lot of room to work to the outside, and as technically sound as he is, that's a pretty good matchup for him.
Moving closer and closer to becoming the CFL's all-time reception leader. There's a pitch back to Moss, a little razzle-dazzle, but he could not connect with DJ Flick. Moss is incensed right now with the official who felt Moss felt there should have been a flag on the play. Jason Moss a little steamed. Interesting play there as they throw a little wrinkle at the Stampeders. They didn't do that 2 weeks ago.
No, and that's one of the things that they really have to do tonight. I think Joe Paupau's offense is pretty vanilla, pretty easy to read and understand if you're a defense. I think they have to throw some wrinkles and a few more things at the Calgary defense tonight.
2nd and 10 now. Moss, lots of time here. To the sideline, no one, home again. And Moss was afforded a lot of protection, could not find a receiver.
And really, the Calgary defense with the extra defensive back in, Wes Lysak comes in the game, and they played a zone, and they absolutely shut down the Hamilton receiving corps. Jason Moss had nowhere to go, just had to throw that one away.
Moss and DJ Flick talking, so obviously he was looking for number 82. So that brings out the punter for the Ticats, Pat Fleming. Last in the Canadian Football League with the average on the kick, and there is Kenyon Rambo. He's back at his 44-yard line. Fleming. The line shot to Rambo. He's stopped in midfield, but good position, and there is a flag back at the Ticat 30. I'll tell you about it when we come back.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet, and by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions.
Henry Burris in the 3-1 Calgary Stampeders. A couple of weeks ago, squeaked one out last second field goal by Sandro DeAngelis to beat these Tiger Cats, who are looking for their first win of 2006. Burris over the top and picked off by Tay Cody. Cody has some room here. Tay Cody takes it to the 38-yard line.
Well, one thing the Stampeders haven't done this year is beat themselves in their bunch formation. A little play action here, and looking downfield, it simply overthrows the receiver, Wes Cates. I mean, that was a bad throw, and Tay Cody with the easy interception. That one just got away from Burris. Now, keep in mind, it is absolutely as humid as it can be tonight, and maybe, just maybe, there's perspiration, certainly from the center, snapping the ball back to the quarterback, because that one just sailed.
Moss hands off to Roddick. Butts heads up the middle with John Grace. Tay Cody with a pickoff, and now the Ticats try to strike first.
And the Calgary defense that they're going to face tonight, 3-4 alignment, Demetrius Maxey and Raheem Abdullah, terrific defensive ends, and an absolutely phenomenal linebacking course. Scott Coe, great young Canadian, comes up and does some great job on the blitzes. Brian Clark having a great year, and pretty young secondary, but this group has come together quite well.
Second down, 5 yards to go. Calgary jumped. Were they drawn? And did Hamilton move first? Stampeders are saying it was the Ticats. The Ticats are saying it was the Stamps.
Well, and it's going to go against Hamilton. And when you talk about the troubles for a team, and there's just so many to document with Hamilton, but 49 penalties.
Procedure. Hamilton, 11 and 52, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
You know, two guys jumping offside, and 49, now their 50th penalty, actually 60th with the opening kickoff, but I mean, that's 7th in the league, and you just kill yourself with those kinds of things.
A lot of players have been saying they're kind of brain-dead penalties, where these guys have been not thinking very much, coming to the line and making those offside calls and penalties on the big play. Now it's second down and 10 yards to go. Moss, and there's Kwame Cavill. Kwame Cavill with his first reception of the season, a guy who has not been put into place in this Ticat offense yet.
Well, they need his speed because their average per reception is very, very low, and Kwame Cavill definitely can stretch a defense with his speed. Now from the outside, he works in. Calgary playing a lot of zone here in this first quarter, and it's up to the Hamilton receivers to find the soft spot. He did, and that's a good conversion on second and long.
Cavill's also a deep threat. Remember, a couple of years ago, he was among the 4 receivers in Montreal, including Jermaine Copeland, who's now a Stamp, who went for 1,000 yards on the season. Ticats on the move again. Roddick bowling his way for a couple.
Well, you know, you talk about the Ticat receivers, Rod, and yes, they have had some guys who've been over 1,000. DJ Flick's done it 2 years in a row. So has Craig East the last 2 seasons in a row. But so far this year, I mean, their DJ Flick is their leading receiver in average at 8.8 yards a catch. I mean, for a guy who's got 4.2 speed, at some point in time, you got to put a threat into this defense, because what's going to happen is if you keep throwing these short routes, defenses across the league are going to just squat down on you and say, hey, if you're not going to go deep, we're going to just jam you. And at some point in time, Jason Moss has got to air it out.
Four receivers right. Will Moss go left? No, he doesn't. He goes right to Terry Vaughn. Vaughn with 2 receptions now, and again moving closer to taking over as the all-time reception leader.
Well, Terry Vaughn's so dependable. I mean, when you go trip side and he's the 3rd guy in and he has so much field to work with, he can feel he works well against the zone right there. He works awfully well against man-to-man. And again, talk about consistency, Rod. 11 times over 1,000. 4 times with the Stampeders he did it. 6 in Edmonton and last year in Montreal, and is hoping to get it his 12th here in Hamilton in 2006.
Well, maybe tonight he could even go over the top and break the record held by Darren Flutie, who coincidentally happens to be here tonight to see his old pal Danny McManus. And they're going to come up a little shy here. In fact, almost full yard shy.
And you know, knowing Ron Lancaster coming into this position as an interim head coach, taking over from a popular Greg Marshall, I think he wants to change the momentum and the identity of this team right away. I am not surprised at all that he'll gamble on 3rd down here.
Well, he has Ronick in the backfield. Moss can basically dive forward too and plunge forward if he stays low enough. See if he goes himself or gives to Ronick for that yard. Takes it off the left side. Rather surprising, and it works. It's something you don't see often on a 3rd down gamble.
No, I mean, they were overloaded to the wide side of the field, and this is a great call back because, look here, you really don't have to do much to seal that corner, and if it is sealed right off the bat, the option is to pitch. I mean, this was a great call on 3rd and 1. I love it to the outside. You know, Ronnie is I'm assuming, thinking Denny Crehan, the defensive coordinator of Edmonton, is thinking sneak right up the middle, and boy, that was a nice change of pace.
DJ Flick to the left of Jason Moss. Mal Peterson to the right. 3 receivers to the right. In the red zone now are the Ticats. Looking for Vaughn. And the catch made by Craig Yeast. I'm not so sure he was the intended receiver. Let's take a look.
Well, this has been a nice drive that Jason Moss has put together. And, you know, offense, Rod, is so much about confidence and flow. Well, on this drive, they've made a lot of plays. They've got confidence. They've got nice flow. Joe Paopao, his eyes in the sky this week. He's got the headset on up top, and maybe he's sending down some plays from up top.
2nd and 4, twin backs. Moss plunges forward. There's a flag on the play.
You know, it's funny, we talked before the game, Rod, when you come into a situation like this, Calgary riding high 3-1, Hamilton 0-4, and you start talking about, well, what's going to happen in this game? And all of a sudden you start thinking, well, they got to win sometime. And you start going, you know.
Calgary, 93, after distance, the goal, 1st down.
How good Calgary is. They're really good. Tom Higgins is going to have his handful tonight.
Well, oftentimes in whatever sport, after a coaching or a managerial change, I don't know what the percentage is, but I can guarantee you it's high.
Yes.
The team usually comes out, responds with a victory. We'll see if that happens.
You know, Matt Dunnigan talked about accountability, and it's going to be that to a new coach tonight.
Ronick in the backfield, Moss behind center. The shovel, a flag on the play. And it looks like the Stampeders may have gotten to Jason Moss a little too aggressively. We'll see what happens here.
You know, that's a tough play to run, that shovel play on the goal line, when you're expecting most defenses will blitz and come through gaps. I don't know. That's a tough call on the goal line.
Major foul. Roughing the passer. Calgary 29. At the distance to goal. 1st down.
Well, Tony Tiller at the top of your screen there. Let's have a look. Here he is, the last man on the line of scrimmage, and the ball is gone. And there you see the hand of the face mask, and absolutely they're going to call that every time. Tony Tiller has done a nice job as the 6th defensive back in this scheme, but every penalty costs his team.
Straight forward and nowhere to go. I was going to mention that you're probably not going to see the shovel again from down low like that, so Moss decided to take it himself. He'll get another crack.
Well, that's a play that Josh Ronick has run well, especially with Kerry Joseph in Ottawa last year, but that's, to me, that's not goal line offense.
Midfield.
That is so tough with blitzing, and, you know, defenses, when they're backed up on their own goal line, they slant, they try to take away gaps and let the linebacker shoot through. Well, that's just, I don't know, Joe. I didn't agree with that one.
Who was the head coach, of course, last year with Ronick
and used that play a lot, but I just don't think it's a goal line kind of offensive play.
Well, if they don't get in here, it's going to make it very interesting. This Calgary defense, known for its ability to hold. Second and goal now. Moss has the touchdown, but wait a second, there's another flag on the play.
Decline. Touchdown.
There it is, the first touchdown for the Ticats tonight. Ronnie Lancaster back at the helm.
Well, the interesting thing in short yardage, when you get on the outside shoulder here with these guys inside, what a perfect way to go for Jason Moss. Now, this is the second time in short yardage that they've gone to the outside, kind of against the norm, but with great results. You know, it's just that angle. Everything's angles, and I don't know whether that was an audible. I suspect it was something they'd seen on film, and that was a set play that they've put in their package for short yardage tonight.
Well, an impressive play that it ate up a lot of the clock. Only 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Mark Myers has his first point in the CFL, and Jason Moss has the first touchdown here tonight.
I'm Archie. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions, and by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet.
Double one. Jason Moss with his 1-yard plunge off the left side. The interception by Tay Cody, setting that up, and a big drive by the Ticats results in the first major here tonight on a steamy night in Hamilton. J.R. Ruffin is back for the Stampeders. Along with Marcus Howell, Myers sends him back to the 5-yard line. Ruffin trying to burst outside, and he does. Ruffin with a flag now on the 45-yard line. And already, I think tonight we've had a flag on almost every play.
Seems like it really slows the game down. Well, Henry Burris, what a start this year he has had in the first quarter. Traditionally a slow quarter offensively, but the last two first quarters, those are the numbers. 15 out of 18, 3 touchdown passes. He really has come out of the gate quickly with his offense. Tonight, though, a different story. Only 1 for 3 so far on 2 possessions. He will now have his 3rd possession of the first quarter, but boy, when you get your team off to a great start, it just seems to set the tone for the game, and his numbers are truly spectacular.
But the Stampeders, again, because of a penalty and a legal block on that return, sends it back to their 15-yard line where they will first scrimmage. And guess who's back in Hamilton? Guy who became a legend here, Danny McManus, on the sidelines. Will we see him tonight in his return to Iverwin Stadium? Maybe. The reverse to Copeland. Jermaine Copeland up near a first down, about 8 to 9 yards on the reverse.
Well, you know, Blackie, before the game, I went down to the end zone and had a nice long chat with Danny Mackey, and I've been good buddies for a long time, as he has been with so many people in this league. But you wouldn't believe the people that came up that just wanted to say hi, and we didn't really know them, but they wanted to shake hands and wish him good luck and thank him for the years in Hamilton. It was really kind of nice to watch.
You know what he said yesterday? You know, they were asking him if it's going to be emotional coming back, and he said, well, of course he's not starting. He said, you know what? No big deal. It's happened to me before I've come back. Hamilton's a special place. In fact, he said he's going to make his home back here someday. Second short yardage. Reynolds stacked up by the Cats. Adriano Belli's in there. So too that whole front line, it looks like.
Well, this will be interesting. I really thought that the surge stopped them short of the first down. Adriano Belli and Devontae Peterson, the 2 tackles, really getting a good push. And I believe Tom Higgins is going to have a decision. Watch right up the middle here. Belli and Bernard Cox is in there as well. They seal down the hole, and then Wash comes to the outside. One thing I know about Tom Higgins, if this is short, he's not afraid to gamble.
Tis short by a football.
he is I would call him a very unorthodox gambling kind of coach. Just when you think there's no way he will, he does. And when you think sometimes he should, he doesn't. So they're going to go for it here, though. And remember, Burris had trouble on a pass earlier, I believe, with a sweaty football.
Burris, again, nylon flying here tonight. Another penalty. Burris had yardage and more.
And again, interesting, he too, like Jason Moss, went to the outside to pick up the first down in short yardage.
Here's Andre Proulx.
Offside. Hamilton 78, 5-yard penalty. First down.
So it's a moot point. Stampeders will continue to move the ball. Two-time coach of the year like Ron Lancaster. Tom Higgins with Edmonton in 03 and with the Stampeders 05, helping resurrect that football club last year. He gave his team a warning, though. They knew that these Cats could be dangerous here tonight. This guy always is. Joffrey Reynolds still on his feet. What a run by 21.
Well, and Joffrey Reynolds leads all backs in yardage, average rather, per carry at 7.6, and he shows you why right here. Ragnar Cox to the outside has an opportunity to make the play, but he is just can't hang on right here. He's got him. He's got him. Yeah, no, he doesn't have him. And all of a sudden, to the outside, Joffrey Reynolds goes. He gets his team out of trouble. They pick up the third down gamble, and now they're off and running. But here, Cox had to move, and he's lucky he didn't get called for face masking as well.
Well, again, slippery tonight is Reynolds. The ball's a little slippery, too, on this hot, sticky night. Burris and company at the Ticat 50. Fakes a pitch and gives it. Inside. Reynolds again. Joffrey Reynolds, you talk about getting it done. Look at the yards per carry, 7.6, which leads the Canadian Football League.
Notice, though, that all the others on that list with high averages are quarterbacks. You look at Josh Ronick on the other side tonight. He's at 2.8. So Joffrey Reynolds, you look at, we talked about receivers in the pregame show, and what a great group. But boy, what a dynamic back he is.
2nd and 5. Flag flies again. Copeland splits the middle.
And I think he jumped the gun.
It was on the far side of the field, right where Copeland was.
Yeah, it was a great pattern. Nice catch. I mean, there's certainly Jason Goss giving him lots of room, but I do believe Copeland did jump the gun. Sometimes when your number's called, you get a little excited.
This is Hamilton secondary.
Offside. Calgary number 80, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
This Ticat secondary last week gave up only 195 yards to the Montreal Alouettes.
Well, there's Copeland right there. I mean, he tries to time it perfectly, but he just jumps the gun, kind of a Ray Elgard-ish. Well, I swore Elgard was offside half the time, and he never got called, but this time Copeland did.
Brett Ralph is wide right. Elijah Thurman wide left. Ronald's in the backfield. Thurman sideline. Stampeders moving the ball. An injured Ticat in the backfield. Adriano Belli is down, was down right away, but back up. For this, he gets back to the line.
Well, when you've got Thurman and Copeland and Lewis all to one side of the field, I mean, that's a little scary. The Ticats they roll zone to the wide side of the field to protect, and then what happens when you do that? The corner's got deep third. He's laying way off. That allows Thurman just to hang around out on the sidelines, and that's a pretty easy pickup.
Thurman last week, a couple of touchdowns, 14 catches so far this season. Kenyon Rambo picks up a couple after the first quarter. Stampeders will go to the other end of the field and try to find the end zone themselves. The Ticats, thanks to an interception and a touchdown by Jason Moss, lead 7-0 in Hamilton. Here are the numbers after the first quarter. Our statistics brought to you by Rona, proud league-wide sponsors of the CFL.
Well, pretty even. The real big thing is the one turnover, and it resulted in the Ticats touchdown. Tate Cody with the interception, and Jason Moss, 11 plays later, was able to get into the end zone for the touchdown, and the Ticats with a nice, pretty clean first quarter 7-0 lead.
Stampeders, though, their furthest penetration of the night into Ticat territory, down to the 34. Burris settles in and fires. And Henry Burris was hit in the backfield, and Tim Cheatwood has his hands in the air, but this is going to go, looks like, against Calgary, although now Tim Cheatwood's saying it's against Calgary or against the Hamilton Tiger Cats 49.
Holding.
It's a holding
Calgary
call.
66. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
At first, it looked like Burris was complaining because he got hit after the pass, but it goes against Hamilton, and so now Stampeders' Sandro DeAngelis, 2-time Special Teams Player of the Week, 2 weeks in a row, and a guy who has made 15 straight field goals. Also hails from this region, Niagara Falls. This will come from the 40. DeAngelis, who won it for Calgary a couple of weeks ago. Straight up and through. Boy, is this guy hot. Sandro DeAngelis comes home. He puts Calgary on the board.
It's not just motor oil, it's liquid engineering.
Oh, Blackie, they're torturing us. Look at that. Why would they put that, all that health food there that I would so dearly love to have?
I'm surprised you were down there earlier. Well, so far,
Is Brian Williams still down around there? Maybe he could grab some for us.
Corey Holmes is back on the field. Sandro DeAngelis will kick this off after his 16th straight field goal this season. Holmes trying to find an opening. Behind blocking, hit from behind. Corey Holmes so far, however, has not been part of the offensive package. He's been part of the special teams so far here tonight.
Well, he's had a bad ankle, and I'm just wondering, because he's not in, is it just still a little tender, and that's why he's only returning kicks so far. But Josh Ronick is left to do most of the work on the ground, and it has been a tough start for him this year coming into this game. Only 19 carries. That's what he did a year ago. 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons with the Ottawa Renegades, and so I think expectations were very high as they were able to get him in the dispersal draft. But so far this season, he just really hasn't been a huge factor. 1 good touchdown reception last week.
Quick hitter to Terry Vaughn in the flat. Vaughn still on his feet. Fights, the veteran does, for 9 yards.
Well, Jermaine Chapman really had him tied up quickly, but Terry Vaughn was able to just get away from the tackle and make something out of nothing. And, you know, this is basically a good first down call. Get it out to your receiver, quickly let him find some running room. But look at Chapman, 41. He was in great shape to make the play about 2 yards over the line of scrimmage, but all of a sudden that turns into a better than a 9-yard gain.
Again, moving closer, and now he is tied for second all-time, 966, with Alan Pitts. 6 away from 972. Direct snap to Ronick. The pitch to Moss. Downfield to DJ Flick. Little flea flicker to Flick. Works. Gain, a huge play for the Ticats, who have not had a lot of huge plays this year.
Well, again, here's Ronick right in the middle, and watch, he runs the option right here, and I think this is great because we talked about the fact that Hamilton has been pretty easy to defense, and now you start throwing a little wrinkle in here and there, and it's got to loosen up the defense, and that was a heck of a well-executed play. Good catch by Flick.
Jason Moss has thrown 6 interceptions this year, only 2 touchdowns, and so far right now, tonight, a lot of confidence. Ronick spinning in the backfield and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Could Terry Vaughn even break that record here tonight. He's already had 3 catches, and here is where he stands all time. 966.
Well, it seems fitting because he's just been so consistent throughout the career, and again, you know, 11 times over 1,000. That is just phenomenal to me. You know, I'd be happy with 1 or 2 seasons. He's had 11 in a row.
You know, a little extra something tonight, too, against his old team, the Calgary Stampeders, a team he won a Grey Cup with. 2nd down and 12. Moss hangs in over the middle, and there's an interference call this time against Terry Vaughn. John Grace grabbed him by the jersey, and that will move the yardsticks even more for the Ticats.
Terry Vaughn right here, and watch as he works down. He's going to come down to the inside, and Moss steps up into the pocket trying to buy a little extra time, and there's John Grace right there, the linebacker. There you see it. He made total contact with him and didn't allow Vaughn to get in. Good call by the officials. Keeps this drive going.
Most outstanding defensive player last year in the CFL, John Grace, a 3-time All-Star. Terry Vaughn coming out to Moss's left. Ronix in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 25. Rolls left, and there's Vaughn again. Terry Vaughn tries to shake a tackle. He's a couple of yards shy, but another reception, and now Terry Vaughn is 2nd alone all time.
Well, and this is really great ball control offense through the passing game. There they up the middle, and Terry Vaughn just sneaks to the outside. Very easy ball to complete and clear out, clear out, clear out, and then you just come underneath it. Hey, that's pretty easy, and you know what? These are great 1st down receptions because you're getting good, solid, positive yardage. Again, almost 9 yards on that play to Vaughn.
4 catches for Vaughn, 31 yards. 2nd and 2. There's Moss off the left side again. Jason Moss rumbles for a 1st down. And now it will be 1st and goal, Tiger Cats.
Well, Jason Moss really playing a game with the end man on the line of scrimmage, and to the top you're going to see Scott Coe come right in there, and that's who Moss is looking at. If he goes straight upfield, well, Moss cuts inside, which he did right there, and pretty interesting play. Jason Moss really reading that defense well on short yardage runs, and again on that option.
He is the Ticats' leading rusher this year, Jason Moss. Cats trying to find the end zone again. Moss, some audibles and a flag in the end zone. Took a little too much time.
And that's a killer penalty.
Violation. Hamilton, number 11, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
You know, those are killer penalties. I mean, this is a beautifully executed drive. They got the aid of a penalty to John Grace to keep it going. However, when you get down like this inside the 10-yard line, I mean, whoa.
Already a 5-minute drive there. 1st touchdown drive took up 6.5 minutes, so they're eating up a lot of the clock. Another quick pass. Inside goes Vaughn. Terry Vaughn down to the 2-yard line. He's 4 away from tying Darren Flutie now.
Well, Terry Vaughn having an outstanding night. He just works his way across the field, and folks, this is nothing more than sheer determination because you're coming inside with a lot of traffic. Now the fun starts. You know you're going to get hit, but look at the desperation in his play, how he desperately tries to get to the end zone, and Terry Vaughn is having himself one heck of a 1st half.
What is it?
So 2nd and goal again for the Ticats.
Oh, man.
Ronix stopped at the goal line. Raheem Abdullah, the CFL lineman of the week. Touchdown saving tackle.
Boy, Calgary Stampeders run a stunt on the goal line. Watch this. Up. Then Coe comes right up and fills into the hole. Inside. Nobody to block for him, and Ronix can't run him over.
And it was Scott Coe right at the goal line. So now Jason Moss is calling for a timeout, wants to talk with Ron Lancaster about this, and there seemed to be a little confusion as Julian Radlin came on the field.
Well, I think that's a great thing. If you're not 100%, boy, you're struggling 0-4. You know, you can count on one hand how many opportunities you're going to get in the other teams inside their 10-yard line. So, good call. Get everything organized.
Look at Ron Lancaster's face right now, like a voice of reason here. Okay, calm down. Let's settle down. Yeah. Let's get the touchdown. Been there, done that. How many times?
He has certainly been there. Of course, Ron Lancaster and the great connections of all time throughout the league. Warren Moon and Brian Kelly represent the Edmonton Eskimos. Ron Lancaster and Hugh Campbell representing the Saskatchewan.
I'm mad. Leaf Pedersen would have been on that list.
Why wasn't it Ron and myself?
Well, Danny McManus and Darren Fruity here in Hamilton are the representatives for making the connection. And now Hamilton tries to connect with the end zone. Big play here. 3rd and goal. The pitch on the ground, fumble, and the Cats blow it. That's the kind of season it has been so far for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. George White recovers the football.
Motors of Canada and all its divisions. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet.
Well, the white knight on that play. George White with the recovery. Actually, a rather easy recovery because the Ticats botched the 3rd and goal. Ball slipping out of the hand, the gloved hand of Jason Moss. And so the Stampeders will take over. Henry Burris with a great fake, ball fake, and he did a lot of this a couple of weeks ago, and it caught the Ticats napping.
Well, let's go back to that turnover by the Ticats. Jason Moss wears the glove on the left hand, the non-throwing hand. Much the reason that everybody in the league, or not everybody, a lot of quarterbacks feel that the balls are a little slipperier this year with the stripes sewn in on them. So, hey, was that a factor in this one? Who knows? But there you see, simply quarterback error. Josh Ronick, had he had a clean pitch, would have easily scored.
Big play by Henry Burris, though, on that play action to Reynolds. Very effective play, and you have a guy like Jeffrey Reynolds in the backfield. CFL leading rusher when it comes to yards per carry. That is a nice weapon to go to, especially when you have 4 or 5 other pass-catching weapons. Reynolds goes to the sidelines this time. So far, 5 carries, 42 yards. Including a 33-yard scamper. 2nd and 5 now for Burris in the Stamps. To Nick Lewis. And Lewis spinning up to the 38-yard line. Former CFL Rookie of the Year. There's a little dance. His first catch of the night.
Well, it's a beauty. You know, when they spread out the defense with 3 receivers to each side of the field and then you cross somebody underneath, it is just so tough for the defense. And Nick Lewis is fearless coming underneath there to make that catch. And more often than not, he gives you some great extra yards as well.
17th catch of the season for Lewis. He got hit hard. The football was not there. There's Jason Goss, who figured prominently in that last meeting with the Stampeders in a 109-yard interception return.
That was quite a play. This time, Jakeem Bradley read this quickly, and he was up, watched right in there, and makes the hit. No way that the receiver's going to make any extra yardage here. And Jermaine Copeland, he's got to commit and make that block, and he simply just wasn't ready to deliver one.
There's Goss, who had that 109-yard interception return, and Cats had to use their defense. Their offense was not clicking 2 weeks ago. Burris again. Lewis again. He stretches for that first down. See where the spot takes it. It looks like it is Calgary first down.
But again, Nick Lewis, such a technically sound receiver, running the hook on Tay Cody, left side of your screen. Good pocket again for Henry Burris. Only a 3-man rush by the Ticats. Lots of good protection for him to see downfield. And remember that after the turnover, Calgary started deep in their own end. This is really the first good drive that they put together tonight.
They are starting to march. 6 receivers set. To the flat for Rambo. Is that Wes Cates out there on the far side of the field? It is Wes Cates from Columbus, Ohio.
You know what, Rod? When you run the quick screen to the wide receiver on first down, I believe it's a great play. Now, you can catch the ball here, but Nick Lewis has got to come out and make the block on Cornegay, who's coming here. If you don't get that first block at the point of attack, you got no chance. Well, look at Cornegay. He comes in underneath and really makes a fine play. But unless you get the block at the point of attack, it's not going to work.
2nd and 5. Again, Reynolds in the backfield. To the near sideline. Thrown out of bounds. Marcus Howell. And another first down. And Burris is starting to really go to work here.
Yeah, and I love to see Marcus Howell get some playing time. I've been a big fan of his. You know, one year he's a wide receiver. They asked him to play corner in Winnipeg. He did an outstanding job, and I always felt he was underused with the Ottawa Renegades the last few seasons. And technically, he's got great hands. He runs good routes, and you know, Scotty Anderson for Calgary's not in the lineup tonight, so that means Marcus Howell's going to get some more playing time.
He goes left side with Jermaine Copeland. Reynolds again in the backfield, the lone back. Gets the ball this time, cutting back. Ray Marius with the tackle there. Stampeders, their offensive coordinator, Steve Barato, a former head coach in the Canadian Football League. Watching his team now start to march. This is something they did not do in the first quarter.
Which they normally do.
Which they normally do.
I think Steve Barato and Henry Burris have developed a very nice mutual respect and chemistry together.
Again, a 6-pack package in receivers. Burris in some trouble here. Flags downfield. He throws it away. One official says that Nick Lewis is out of bounds. One says he is complete. We'll see what they do when they sort it out here. There are flags again on the field.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Hamilton 31, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Joaquin Bradley with the infraction, so with the aid of a penalty here.
Well, he got tied up with Marcus Howell coming off the line of scrimmage. Get a look at it right here. To the left of your screen, yeah. Just absolutely knocked him down. Pretty easy call to make.
3.5 minutes left before halftime. Pump fake. Look out here. Burris goes down. And it's Devontae Peterson with his 2nd sack of the season.
Devontae Peterson working over the right guard, Taylor Robertson, and he just keeps some extra effort here. Watch him. He just doesn't give up on this play. Henry Burris with the pump fake. He needs a little extra time, and actually Peterson breaks the double team to get the sack.
3-minute warning on the field. 7-3 Ticats in Hamilton. Well, coming up, 3 minutes. Wendy's in the half. The boys are going to talk about this first half. Not exactly electrifying by any stretch. Ryan Williams will talk to Hamilton general manager Rob Katz about his decision this week to fire Greg Marshall after 4 losses. And of course, the boys will look ahead to the second half of our doubleheader. Saskatchewan Roughriders in BC tonight. The Stampeders are on the move here, but it's 2nd and 17. Handoff, a draw play. Joffrey Reynolds moves it to the middle of the field, and that will bring out the hottest player in the CFL right now, Sandro DeAngelis.
Well, it's possible the defensive alignment was the reason for that call, but pretty passive call by Henry Burris. I mean, they had 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 7 defensive backs in the game, all lined up about 15 yards deep. So I think Hank Burris is saying, you know, in that situation, we've got a kicker that's 16 in a row. Let's bring him in.
17 of 18 on this season. Last year in his first trip to Hamilton, told me before the game that he threw up before the game. He was so nervous. Not nervous so far this season. This one comes from just inside the 40.
Yes.
And the streak is over. Corey Holmes in his end zone will take the knee, and so after 16 in a row, DeAngelis is human after all. 7-4 Cats. On the sidelines tonight for Calgary is Danny McManus. On the sidelines for us is John Liu. John?
Well, guys, by Danny McManus's count, this is his 4th homecoming to a city where he used to play, but he says this one is giving him chills down his spine, and it's easy to understand why. In 8 years with the Ticats, he won a Grey Cup in '99. He has deep ties to the community with charitable work, and he's considered an icon in these parts. But even so, if he gets into this game, McManus says he expects to be heckled by these, shall we say, creative Hamilton fans. So if in fact that does happen, he's not going to take it personally. He said he's going to settle in Hamilton. That's why he's only renting a 1-bedroom apartment in Calgary right now. Rod?
And Corey Holmes, thank you, John, with his first play in an offensive package tonight. They go right to number 3, and he delivers.
Well, the key when they run the swing screen on this play for the Ticats is they get the block at the point of attack. Terry Vaughn, terrific job right out there. Double team on the outside on George White. There it is right there. And hey, that's got some room for Corey Holmes. So the first time he's in, he touches the football and makes an impact.
Playing in the slot back spot. Corey Holmes just to the right now of Moss. There he is again. This guy did so many great things with the Saskatchewan Roughriders last year, wearing number 19 in Regina.
But again, he does so many things so well. I mean, you talk about a guy that just part-time play, 899 yards rushing the football. And that was phenomenal. Think about, you know, Ken Keith's your main guy, and here's a guy that adds 900 yards on the ground. That's amazing.
Again, has been slowed and wobbled early in this season by a sprained ankle, but so far tonight has looked pretty good.
And a player who, for the most part, has been pretty much injury-free his entire career.
Back on the sidelines now on this 2nd and 4-yard play for Moss and the Cats. And he's throwing to Vaughn, this time in and out of his hands.
Jason Moss is a little upset with something. I mean, this is a pretty easy throw for him to make and complete to Terry Vaughn. And here's, you know, again, Terry Vaughn just works to the inside, and this isn't tough stuff. And oh, you know, look here, he's got position, the ball is behind and late.
2, 4, 6.
A minute 44 to go in the second quarter. Pat Fleming with his 2nd punt of the night. Kenyon Rambo back at his 15. Fleming. Wobbler, one hopper to Rambo. Nowhere to go. We'll go to break. Burris will go to work in a moment. Final 90 seconds of the first half. Calgary. Couple of fakes by Boris. Out of the backfield is Reynolds. Joffrey Reynolds. He's had an outstanding first half tonight.
He just makes people miss. I mean, this is a play that should be stopped for just a little gain, but I mean, he breaks tackles. He's done that all night, and you know, all of a sudden he gets his team some breathing room. There's a minute 25 to go, and I think Henry Burris will be in full-fledged hurry-up now because they easily have plenty of time to try to get it into at least field goal range for Sandro DeAngelis.
3-point deficit for the Stampeders. Flag flies, ball flies to Elijah Thurman. Tay Cody almost had his second interception of the night.
Well, I know Wayne Shaw, he was really zeroing in should that ball really have been on target, and he would have had to make a choice. Do I go for the ball, or I just absolutely try to separate Thurman from it?
It was Wayne Shaw, who's already had a couple of forced fumbles this season.
Offside. Hamilton 78, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
More of those penalties that have plagued the Cats. Adriano Belli.
And you talked about it earlier, Rod. I mean, these are the mental ones, the silly ones, and you know, it comes a time where these are inexcusable. I know Adriano's a tough guy. He plays hard, but goodness gracious.
So 2nd and 5. Morris uses a lot of play action with Reynolds in these situations. Instead drops right back out of the shotgun, and there is Reynolds again. Joffrey Reynolds still going. Reynolds. Another big gainer for Joffrey Reynolds.
Look from the end zone here. Watch the left side of the Calgary offensive line. I mean, they just take off and start running. They seal off the inside. That allows Reynolds to get to the outside, and with all his speed, he is having a whale of a first half.
You know, a couple of weeks ago in the first game with Hamilton, it was kind of interesting that they didn't really use Reynolds a lot, did not establish their drive with him. Tonight, they really are doing everything through number 21.
Well, again, you know, this is the beauty of this offense. You know, pick your poison. You know, you want to use Copeland, Lewis, Thurman, Rambo, Marcus Howell's cut balls tonight, and now you mix in Joffrey Reynolds for a change of pace, whether it's running or those swing passes. I mean, this is a pretty dynamic group, and, you know, not unlike we used to say about Dave Dickinson in BC. You might start to say it in Calgary with Henry Burris. How in the world is he going to keep everybody happy?
Yeah. Reynolds, you can also see why that average is up. He has a lot of those long gainers. And of course, only 4 games in. Having a couple of big plays from scrimmage will keep your average up there as Steve Barato looks on. Joffrey Reynolds having a splendid night in Hamilton. Now in field goal range for DeAngelis. Reynolds up the gut again. It's been Reynolds right, Reynolds left, and Reynolds out of the field.
Yeah, and Hamilton in this hurry-up offense, 3-man front. That's a good front to run the draw against. Pretty easy angles for the linemen to get their blocks. And Henry Burris has put together a pretty good-looking drive. Trail by 3 with 45 seconds, plenty of time.
They're going to measure here. It's pretty close to a first down for Reynolds.
And again, here with 45 seconds to go, I'm sure Henry Burris, with this time for the measurement, call a couple of plays in the huddle.
And he doesn't have it by a nose. Reynolds with 65 yards so far in this first half, 33 yards, and another for another 20 or so. Well, lots of time, Leaf, to pump it into the end zone.
The beauty of their lineup right now is, you know, here it is, hurry up, and you think, well, he's got to be in there. But Wes Cates, who will come in and replace him, is a pretty darn good running back in his own right.
Again, a 6-receiver set this time, so Burris will go to the air. It's dangerous receiving core. Instead, takes off with it. Burris on a great call, diving, plunging forward to the 10.
Well, you know, again, screens and draws are great against a 3-man front. And here you go, you know, 3-man front right on the nose there. Coming here, coming here. For Henry Burris just to do that, hey, this is tailor-made. 3-man front, quarterback draw is a great call. And he knew what he was going to get. I mean, they know on film, they know on hurry up. Hamilton's 3-man front, 2 linebackers, 7 defensive backs. Great call.
25 seconds in the half. Reynolds again. Reynolds, they can't bring this guy down.
Well, Bobby Brooks, the middle linebacker, had him dead in his sights and absolutely came away with nothing but cloth. Again, this, you know, Joffrey Reynolds is like a man possessed here in the first half, making people miss right here. Brooks, 55, has a shot there. He misses. Reynolds just keeps on going. And, you know, on a hot night, I don't know what it is, these kind of drives seem to really take so much more out of the defense than when they're giving up yards than they do the offense.
9 seconds in the half. And Reynolds is wrapped up. Brought down with 4 seconds left. And 4 yards to the end zone. Calgary will take a timeout. This should be the last play coming up. Do you go for the end zone, or do you take Mr. Automatic from in there and go in with a tied ball game into halftime?
Well, here's what you remember what I said earlier. We'll see this fine play by Mary Hughes again. He comes from the top of your screen, shoots through the gap. But here's what I talked about earlier about Tom Higgins. When you think he shouldn't, he will gamble. When you think he should gamble, he won't. So this is probably one of these ones where he'll probably go for it.
Indeed he is.
Yeah, I mean, most people would say, hey, take the 3, tie the game, you're on the road. But he absolutely goes against the grain.
So, the final play of the first half.
Well, I thought Hamilton's already used their timeout, so they can't be taking one. They used it on the 3rd down gamble.
Burris in shotgun. Goes to his right with some room. Burris is stopped. He's stopped on the goal line. Tim Cheatwood on a touchdown-saving stop. The gambler, this time it did not pay off.
Have a look. Henry Burris, the option to run or throw. He sees a gap right there. And then it's Cheatwood and it's Tay Cody. They do a double team. Great look coming from here. Now you see what Burris sees. He sees an opening. But boy, as it goes down in a hurry. Tim Cheatwood coming all the way from the backside defensive end spot.
So during a week of much change here in Hamilton, something else has changed. The Ticats have the lead at the half. Dave?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do, but just barely. Tim Cheatwood, who's been through some lean seasons, making a big statement at the goal line. These guys are going to have their statements on the Ticats lead. Brian Williams will interview Hamilton General Manager Rob Katz. We got all kinds of stuff coming up on the halftime show. There's the lone touchdown of the ball game so far. 7-4 Ticats.
Live at the half, brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Do Wendy's, do what tastes right.
Well, this was the question we asked you on the Boston Pizza CFL poll question tonight during the pregame show. Do you agree with the firing of Greg Marshall? You logged on and said, ooh, it was close tonight, but the yeses went out by 54% of the vote. Right now, it's Greg Marshall's old team with a 7-4 lead over the first place team from the West. 7-4. So it's a good thing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats to have this lead, but we're still seeing some of the same symptomatic mistakes that we've seen from them not only this year, but through last season as well. I'm talking about the penalties. The offside on the opening kickoff. You know, that can't happen. They had the time count violation right before they missed on 3rd and 1. It's not fixed yet, but you got some positives, don't you?
You're so negative, David.
Hey,
Can we dwell on the positive just for once? Jeez.
Please.
Okay, there's lots to be positive about for Hamilton, particularly in light of the coaching change. You know, you see it time and time again. When a coach does get fired midseason, the team comes out fired up, and you see effort plays like this from Terry Vaughn. And it's fun to watch. Hey, I feel for Coach Marshall, but it's fun to watch a team and watching the effort. Look at Chad Cornegay here. This guy is around his ankle right here at the 51-yard line. Let's see how far he gets dragged here. 1, 2, 3, 4 yards down the football field as he's hanging on for dear life. And how about Devontae Peterson? I love the effort he shows right here. There he is playing the tackle position. Watch how he fights off a double team. One guy, two guys, swim move, splits them, and gets to the quarterback. That is what you expect to see, and I'm happy I'm seeing because it means this football team is engaged.
Jocko, now we're into that area. 14 points in 4 games in the second half for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Can they continue to play with that emotion? Well, defensively, they were up against a pretty big challenge against the number 2 rushing back in the league in Joffrey Reynolds. Well, early on, they held him in check. people swarming to the ball. Jock talked about the effort plays. Well, effort's all over the football field. They did a nice job on containing him early. And then you go to sleep just a little bit and you relax just a little bit against a back like this, and he will put up runs like this back to back. In the last drive, he simply went off. He's got 9 carries for 75 yards in the first half, Schultz. 2 receptions for 45 yards. They've got to continue to concentrate on this guy because he will break loose. And if they don't put some points on the board, Schultz, it's going to be tough in the second half.
It was a priority for this football team to control the running game, but I love the risk-reward element that the Hamilton Ticats are using on offense. And even when it doesn't work out, they'll go back to it. A pitch back to the quarterback. Moss has to throw the ball out of bounds, no problem. How about this for a risk? How often have we seen Jason Moss running an option, keeping the football, taking the risk with his body? The first trick play didn't work out, so what? Let's try another one. This time, Ronick to Moss, and he completes this one. As long as they go through the risk-reward scenario, they've got a shot in the second half to win this game.
And where do we used to see those trick plays?
Joe Paopao.
In Ottawa.
Yes, a long time ago.
And it's been showed for a long time. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more. Right now, the tricks aren't working. This was a trick. They were trying to turn the trick on 3rd and 1, but a bad exchange between Moss and Ronick leaves them standing there outside the goal line.
Over the past 50 years, millions of Canadians have come to rely on the professionals at Speedy Muffler Brake and Wheel. And right now, during our 50th anniversary sale, you can save 50% on all our quality brake pads and shoes. Speedy Muffler Brake and Wheel, serving Canadians since 1956.
Here are the halftime numbers brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. Jock.
Well, I think the numbers are pretty even. Hamilton's doing a great job in every category except rushing yards. 26 yards, not enough when you got Ronick and Holmes on the same football team.
Hamilton Tiger Cats have the lead because of a superior defensive effort at their own goal line. For more on what's been an eventful week in Hamilton, let's send you back out to Ivor Wynne Stadium and bring in Brian Williams with a special guest. Hi, Brian.
Hi again, Dave. Joining me is the general manager of the Hamilton Ticats, as promised, Rob Katz. Rob, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
2 years ago, Greg Marshall is Coach of the Year in the Canadian Football League. He didn't forget how to coach football. Why was he fired?
You know, it's one of the difficult parts of the business side of sports.
No, but why? What did he do wrong?
You know what? He's the head football coach, and unfortunately, you know, the organization, for all the changes that we've made, we were not getting it done on the field. So, you know, there's a certain amount of accountability, and that responsibility has to be shared, you know, throughout the organization. You know, Coach Lancaster spoke to the players about it. In the front office, we all share with it. You know, but when we sat down and really evaluated, there were some things, you know, that directionally, you know, we wanted to change, and we wanted to see some change. And unfortunately, you know, the timing was such that you know, we gave it the weekend after the Montreal game. And
but why only 4 games? A lot of people are saying to me he only had 1 home game. I know the signings of Ronick, of Moss, of Holmes, of Vaughn put the focus squarely on Greg Marshall.
Yep.
But what about Joe Paopao, the offensive coordinator? He hasn't done his job either. Why did you only give him 4 games?
Well, I mean, if you look at where we are with the season, right now we're still 2 points back in the playoff race, and you know, we've dug ourselves a bit of a hole. And if you don't come fighting out of it, you know, then we're not going to be able to still focus and achieve the things that we want this season. So when we looked at the timing, you know, coming off of this game, we go back and we have Montreal again on the road on a Thursday game. So you've got another short week. So timing-wise, you know, again, it's the unfortunate side, but you know, there's no right time. And you know, we felt that that we needed to make the move.
A couple of quick questions. We're running out of time. If Ron Lancaster in the remaining 14 games goes 10-4, is he still an interim coach?
He's an interim coach. I mean, you know, and Ron's made that clear. You know, we were very fortunate to have Ron, you know, in the house, and for him to be willing to take on this additional responsibility when we decided to make a change. What it allowed us to do is keep as much continuity as you can through a major change like that. So, but he's made it clear that, you know, he'd like nothing more than to finish off strong, have a run into the playoffs. We've got the talent there to do it, but this is likely Ron's last run.
Couple of quick answers. What is the plan for the future? Do you go looking? Do you wait for people to come to you? Do you have someone in mind?
No, we don't have anybody in mind. We've been proactive already. People have contacted us. We're compiling a list, and we have in this particular situation, we have the good fortune of being able to cast a wide net across North America, both Canada and the U.S. People that have CFL experience and others who've either played or been coordinators in this league. And so, we're going to take our time and make sure that we make the best choice.
Just a couple of seconds. The criticism of this organization is it's being run by committee. Yourself, Bob Young, Chris. I hear it was you that fired Greg Marshall and not Bob Young. Is that a fair statement?
No, I mean, I don't think it's being run by committee. I think when we have to make decisions, we're making decisions. In this particular case...
Who made this decision?
This was an organizational decision.
So this was a decision by committee. Bob Young supported this?
Yeah, well, this was just an organizational decision. I mean, when we went over it, it was something that we talked about internally and felt we needed to do.
I got to get to Dave Randorf. Yes or no? Did Bob Young support this?
It was an organizational decision.
If the guy ever runs for politics, Dave Randorf, he just might get elected. Rob Katz, thank you very much. General Manager in Hamilton. Dave?
Well, not for lack of trying, Brian. We'll give you that. That's for sure. And speaking of trying, Burris was trying to get into the end zone. Tim Cheatwood said, not on my watch.
Nope.
Welcome back to Iverwin Stadium for the second half tonight. Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN. Don't forget, after this, we'll take you to BC, Saskatchewan, and the BC Lions. The second half of our doubleheader. The Hamilton Tiger Cats leading 7-4. Trying to break into the win column in what has been a very trying week for the organization. Firing their former coach of the year. Sandro DeAngelis will kick this off to get our third quarter underway. Corey Holmes is back. Along with Craig Yeast.
You got to handle it.
Holmes. There's an opening. Corey Holmes brings it up to the 43-yard line.
Well, Corey Holmes consistently tonight has given his team good field position with terrific kick returns, and here he just waits. Now the seam opens up. There you see the acceleration. Some good blocking. Ray Mary used through a dandy to spring him loose, and nice spot for Jason Moss to start this drive.
This is the 5th week in the CFL. It seems kind of peculiar that we haven't had a return yet, punt or kickoff. Don't you find that strange?
I find it very strange with the amount of talent that's out there returning kicks in the league.
Jason Moss was looking for Vaughn. There it is. Terry Vaughn with his 6th catch here tonight. And again, moving closer, inching closer to becoming the CFL's all-time reception leader. There was a flag after the play on the sideline.
Well, Joe Paopao is the mastermind of this Hamilton offense. Those were the first half possessions tonight.
Unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 7, 15-yard penalty. First down.
John Grace penalized. So now Terry Vaughn is 3 receptions away.
A couple of penalties for Grace tonight. One interference, and now this one on the sidelines. And tough to tell there if he was out of bounds. I suspect he was.
Again, Vaughn is 3 away from tying Flutie, 4 from becoming the all-time reception king. Roddick. Once again, nothing open for Josh Roddick. That is a dynamic front 7 for the Calgary Stampeders, that 3-4.
And again, I'm somewhat surprised that Corey Holmes is not in the backfield running the football tonight. And of course, he is coming back off the ankle injury. He's caught a couple of passes out of the backfield and of course returned kicks quite well. But I thought we'd see him handling the football a little more from the running back position, and yet we have yet to see that.
4 carries, 11 yards for Josh Ronick. 2nd and 8 now for the Cats. Moss, look out here, and he will drop the football. It's a fumble, and it's picked up by Sheldon Napastuk, and the Stampeders take over. Pressure that time by the Stamps, and another turnover from the Cats. TSN proud to present tonight's game in high definition, courtesy of Sony, and available in 5.1 digital Dolby surround sound. There's a lot of Stampeders surrounding Jason Moss. 2nd time tonight he coughs up the football, this time at midfield. And the Stampeders take over at the Hamilton 49, trailing by 3. Reynolds, Joffrey Reynolds, outstanding first half. This time he is stopped up. Cheatwood is there. John Grace was certainly in on Jason Moss.
Now watch what's the stunt to the outside, up, and then watch how far John Grace comes on the blitz to make this play. I mean, this is a long way to come, but he fights his way right up over center and knocks the ball loose at the same time. Napastuk with the fumble recovery, but for John Grace, I mean, that is a stunt that takes a long time to develop, and he came bruises right up the gut.
2nd time tonight, Moss fumbles, and again with that gloved hand in this hot, sticky night. Jermaine Copeland can't hang on, and Tay Cody's had himself a good night. So Cody breaks up that potential reception. And the Stampeders go 2 and out. Bert Dales will come in.
Well, you know, that's frustrating for Calgary, for Henry Burris, Tom Higgins, and Steve Barato. I mean, you get the turnover, you really want to take advantage. They've done a good job at that this year for the most part. But that quick 2 and out certainly wasn't what they wanted.
Corey Holmes is back at his 5. Dales will angle to the sidelines. And they keep it away, as far away as possible from number 3. We'll be back to Hamilton. Wendy's Friday Night Football will continue after this. Well, coming up after this one tonight, we head to BC Place. The Saskatchewan Roughriders and Lions are standing by. Jason Moss. Again to Josh Ronick. Just is not getting much running room so far this season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and they are ready in BC Place. Chris Cuthbert, Glenn Suter. The Rough Riders trying to bounce back after being demolished offensively last week by the Calgary Stampeders, and the Lions, Dave Dickinson, trying to get another win early in this year. 2nd and 5 yards to go. Very close to a first down.
Great reaction by Tony Tiller there to come in. That play looked like it was destined to easily pick up the first down, but that's going to come up short. As Tony Tiller, who's been a nice addition to this secondary, filling in as mostly the 6th defensive back, nickelback coming in these situations. But watch how he knifes through. Initially, good block on the outside. There you go. And Tiller just knifes through, makes the play. And I believe that once again, Ron Lancaster's going to have to make a decision here. And this is pretty deep in his own territory. We've seen some funny things with the football tonight, and there's certainly some intense humidity here. So you see Ronnie's got the towel on. He's got the sweaty brow going.
Here come the twin backs, Ronick and Julian Radlin. So they are going to go.
You know, one of the things throughout Ron's playing career, I mean, he always had the luxury of George Reed, so it usually was never a doubt what we were going to do on 3rd down was give it to George. And it was pretty much an easy call.
Again, there have been a couple of mishaps. Another 3rd down gamble near the goal line.
Yeah,
went astray for Moss.
I don't know about this one.
Moss straight ahead. And with the spot, needed about a half a yard.
But you know, he took an awful shot there coming over the top. I believe it was Brian Clark. George White was in there too, and I'm sure they're going to get it. But watch over the top here. Jason Moss, it's a little high right there, and it is Brian Clark. See the old coach.
Ronnie Lancaster was right on that line, and I'm not so sure if he even thought for a second they didn't get it, but they did. And he's got a chuckle on the sidelines.
He said that was easy.
Of course, led the Cats to a Grey Cup here in 1999. Moss behind center to DJ Flick. Right up to his 45-yard line. 19-yard pickup on the quick slant into Flick.
And they went to a tight end formation. Julian Radlin lined up as a tight end on that side and just blocked up, and all a quick post to Flick, and as soon as he cleared the linebacker, the ball was in the air. Nicely thrown by Jason Moss.
Right guard Wayne Smith is down in the backfield, and he's banged up, and he is hurt, so we'll take a break and come back to Hamilton. 7-4 Ticats.
It's not just motor oil, it's liquid engineering.
Along with Lee Pedersen, Rod Black with you. You know, we anticipated a lot tonight. You know, certainly some more emotion from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I think we also anticipated a little more offense. We're not getting it tonight.
I think we anticipated a lot more offense, certainly from the Calgary Stampeders, and through 2.5 quarters, they've only scored 4 points. I mean, give a lot of credit to Hamilton. They're playing with emotion, and, you know, Hamilton could be leading by more had they not shot themselves in the foot so many times. Fumbled on the 1-yard line on 3rd and goal. So, anyway, a little surprising it's so low scoring, but tight, which we want.
Yeah, and Ron Lancaster trying to get his Hamilton Tiger Cats their first win of 2006. Wayne Smith is hobbling off now, and so that puts more pressure on that offensive line. There has been some pressure on Jason Moss tonight from that Calgary front 7. So does not look good right now for Wayne Smith. We'll get an update from John Liu. 1st and 10, Moss out to Corey Holmes. Look out here, he has some room. Holmes, 15-yard scamper.
Well, Corey Holmes clearly has been the offensive threat for the Ticats tonight, and I certainly hope they leave him in the game and give him a little more playing time, because every time he has touched the football, he's had truly positive yardage. And here again, you know, once again, Terry Vaughn, good block at the point of attack. That's the key, and he gets it. And Corey Holmes is a great kick returner, reads those blocks so well. And I hope they keep him in for a little longer this time.
33 yards, 3 receptions so far. This time he gets the handoff inside, so the first running play. Again, we saw Wayne Smith go out of the game. He's being carted off the field, will be attended to. And Pascal Charon, the veteran, comes in. And he has been slowed this season by a bout of mono.
Well, you know, I've had it twice, and you just don't recover overnight with that kind of blood disorder. And, you know, the white cells just get down, and you can't fight infection. And it can take a long time. So Pascal Charon, he too, fighting back right now.
2nd down and 5. 6 receivers set for Moss. Look out here again. And Kwame Cavill has nowhere to go. Great read right there by the Stampeders.
You know what? At this point in time, when they go to that side, Jermaine Chapman is up into that backfield so quickly, and that's the 2nd time tonight that he has made a play like that. You're going to see it again, but number 41, absolutely, when he sees that look, he accelerates up there. So you know what? If I'm Joe Paopao, I'm going to fake the block, fake the throw, and send somebody deep, because he's the perfect guy to do that against, because he reacts so quickly to those kind of screen plays. I think Paopau's got to file that one away for futures tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Lewis is back. Chapman's on the line now. Pat Fleming. Ball is ground ball down to Lewis. And that worked out pretty good for the Tiger Cats. That had disaster written all over it. Stampeders back on offense when we come back. It is a low-scoring night in Hamilton so far. Burris to Rambo. Knocked out of bounds.
Well, back to the kick by Pat Fleming, and you know, this is a one-hopper. He actually makes a really good play. I mean, this is tough. You got the heat coming, and you know what? Look at the job he does to, I mean, it's not much of a kick, but he got a great roll. And talk about making a half-decent play out of a disastrous situation.
Yeah, he also could have been seriously smoked there. Able to get that off, only 24 yards, but that could have been not only a loss, that could have gone the other way for 6 points.
Well, again, tonight, there has been a lot of missed tackles on both sides, and I'm just wondering with, you know, the humidity. I know
I totally agree with you.
It looks like there's been some trouble handling the football a little bit, but you know, even tackling, I mean, you get the sweaty arms, the jerseys are absolutely soaked right through. So I'm not so sure that some of the sloppy tackling hasn't been because of the intense humidity.
Burris in the stance go 1st and 10 from their 44-yard line. Movement on the line. Yeah, maybe a time count. No, it's procedure against the Stampeders.
You know, one of the other things tonight, Rod, and it's been really hot in Calgary, but
procedure. Calgary number 64, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Jeff Pilon with the procedure penalty, but it's been hot in Calgary, but you know what? They don't get the humidity like this, and this has been kind of a mindless sort of sloppy game for the Stampeders so far, and I'm just wondering, you know, you come east at this time of the year, I mean, this is a tough night to play, and we'll see if it takes its toll on their fitness level in the 4th quarter.
7 minutes to go before that 4th quarter. Reynolds carrying the mail again.
So I think it bears talking about. I mean, this is an offense that's only scored 4 points tonight, but look what they've amassed so far this season. I mean, they've been at the top of the charts in almost every category. Points scored first. I mean, they average 28 points a game, yards a game, almost 450. That's enormous. And, you know, Joffrey Reynolds, so Hamilton's either doing an unbelievable job or Steve Barato's group is just not functioning at their normal level.
Don't you find, too, though, early in the year after a blowout in one of those games with not really a great work of progress, those numbers are skewed because they only have played 4 games.
No question.
Only 4 points tonight. Harry Burris has to run. Lets it fly. And laying out was Brett Ralph.
Well, it's interesting. They love to run the crossing routes. And the Hamilton inside linebackers, just at the snap of the ball, both turned to the inside and started looking for people coming across. So there was a lot of commotion, and you see that's where Burris wanted to go initially. But he really does buy himself some nice time with his feet. He does not complete the pass, but he still was able to get outside and have an attempt at it. But Hamilton on defense, you know, they've done their film study, and although Lewis has caught a few balls underneath tonight, the linebackers, Bobby Brooks and Juwan Armour, those guys were looking for those crossing patterns to bump them off their routes.
Once again, Burke Dales is back, and so is Corey Holmes. Kind of a feeling that Holmes, one of these games, one of these moments, is going to get one and break one.
Somebody's going to do it this year. Oh, what a surprise. Another flag.
He's brought down at the 32. We'll tell you about the penalty when we come back to Ivor Wynne Stadium. 7-4 Ticats. Well, no, you're not imagining anything. Calgary has the football, and as we were going to break, they explained that it was a procedure call against the Stampeders and then a roughing call against Hamilton. Now, Ron Lancaster is going ballistic on the sidelines over there and trying to figure this one out as well.
Well, nobody, I mean, we did not see from, and now the officials.
And now it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be Hamilton football. because the procedure did come before the roughing. A procedure call against the Stampeders, an unnecessary roughness call, unnecessary roughing against Hamilton. And for a moment there, our eyes weren't believing what we were seeing, but it's all worked out here. And now Hamilton's backed up.
Calgary illegal formation. That penalty's declined. After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton 82, back 15 yards. First down, Hamilton.
All right, so they decline the penalty, get the football, and after dead ball foul.
There goes Wayne Smith. Apparently a high ankle injury.
Illegal formation. That penalty's declined. After the ball is dead. Major foul, unnecessary roughness.
I got to check with our producer, John Hines, if this is a replay.
This is another explanation just to make sure that everybody got it.
Old Andre must like this call. All right, well, we got it.
If you didn't get it one more time, what was it? What was it?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we do know one thing. Tiger Cats have the football. They lead 7-4, 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Moss will roll. And giving chase and bringing him down, but Yeast makes the catch. What a crazy night this has been here. And that just sort of typifies it, doesn't it?
Well, Terrence Patrick had him in his sights, and all of a sudden, Jason Moss at the end of this play was able to complete a ball. Here's Patrick coming from the bottom of your screen. Watch, he's relentless. He doesn't give up, and he thinks he's got the sack right here. All of a sudden, he's got a completion, but it just gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's a lot of work for no gain.
Again, the Ticats lucky the ball wasn't picked off and taken to the house. 2nd and 10 now. Kyle Peterson goes wide right. DJ Flick to the left. Corey Holmes is in the set here. So is Vaughn. To the sidelines and knocked out of bounds into that wall, which is so close. DJ Flick, you've played here. You know how close it is now. They do have rubber padding on that brick wall down there, but DJ Flick has been rocked.
You know, you have to be fearless when you're running that kind of a pattern to the sidelines. He is going full speed as he makes the catch clearly out of bounds. And,
boy,
you know, the touch from behind by Tony Tiller, 29, he right in the back there. And, you know, and people will say, well, heck, he's out of bounds. That's roughing. But, I mean, at full speed, guys, you know, when you're right on the sidelines, you're allowed to make that play as a defensive back as well. I think Flick's okay.
Stampeders should get some good field position here. Fleming is at his 2-yard line. Just gets this one away, but oh, a booming kick. And dropped. Picked up. Nick Lewis dropped it. Tad Cornegay has it. The Tiger Cats get the football back. Well, the weirdness continues. Nick Lewis drops the punt return. Tad Cornegay gets the football back. And maybe this is what it's like to play football in a sauna, because nobody has been able to hang on to it.
Well, it's been a weird night checking that moon out there.
Corey Holmes wanted to throw the football back to Jason Moss. Instead, gallops for a first down.
Well, this is some kind of play on the handoff. You know, you clearly see that as he hands off, Jason Moss is going to come over right here, and he's expecting to throw. So what happens? Oh, Holmes says, well, I better run this way. And look at the block that Moss throws on John Grace. And this was all set up by a terrifically athletic play by Tad Cornegay. Watch here how he curls, rolls, and makes the recovery all at one time. How many times have you seen players look absolutely ridiculous going after a fumble and trying to pick it up? That was a thing of beauty, the way Cornegay rolled, scooped it, protected it all in one shot. Extremely athletic.
White City, baby. Stand up, baby. Got New Jersey.
Well, a lot of players on the field right now getting some water, and they're down on one knee. And you talked before about, you know, the hydration factor here tonight, needing a lot of water, and the cramping that will go on.
Yeah.
And this is where it starts to kick in, doesn't it?
Well, can I tell you honestly, folks, and you know, Rod Black would whine, but I won't. But it is really hot, even up in the booth here tonight.
Why wouldn't you? You were the first guy to whine.
Anyway, I mean, like truly, we are really perspiring up here just broadcasting the game, so I can only imagine
starting to smell
what it's like. Well, there you see right there the offensive lineman. That's Greg Randall right there, and these guys they're going to lose a few pounds tonight for sure. In fact, a lot of pounds. But you're right,
it can be dangerous.
Well, it can be dangerous. And for more on this, let's check in with John Liu. John.
Well, guys, the wind hasn't kicked up yet, and you really wish it would here at Everwind Stadium, but the humidity along with the temperature is about 36 Celsius at kickoff time and still hovering around there. Calgary Stampeders in particular, they are feeling it because it's a lot drier in Calgary for their home games, but they've stocked up on about double the water supply and electrolyte drinks. Hamilton's standpoint, double the water and about 3 times the normal supply of ice towels. So both teams are feeling it, and the sooner the wind kicks up here to cool things down, the better off both sides will be.
Well, I got a feeling it may not kick up. Brian Clark leaves. It looks like a cramp from him. John Liu didn't look like he was perspiring. He's got a fan down there.
Yeah, what's going on there? He didn't have a drip or anything.
Yeah, he's probably in the lounge or one of the suites. But Brian Clark leaves. Jason Moss. See, that's where he was standing right there.
That's where he's been hiding.
But it is a hot and humid night. And the Ticats are on the move here. Corey Holmes has really started to pick it up for the Ticat offense, doing what they picked him up for. Ronick's in the backfield, Moss behind center. Play action to Ronick. Goes to the outside for Peterson. And overthrew him. Well, a reminder that you can vote for the Rogers Player of the Game. You can cast your vote. Text messaging, go CFL, internet, CFL.ca. Rogers Player of the Game. And then maybe Terry Vaughn, who could become the all-time reception leader, maybe even tonight. John Grace has had a pretty good game. A lot of pressure on Jason Moss.
I think it might be a defensive player that comes up with a huge turnover at crunch time and wins the game for somebody. It just seems like Reynolds had a great second quarter.
So 2nd and 10 now. Moss stays in traffic. There's Vaughn. A spin down to the 5-yard line. And what a play by Terry Vaughn. What a pass by Moss. Bullseye.
Yeah, it really was. And, you know, Moss had so much time as he waited for this to develop. Again, Terry Vaughn from the inside, 3rd man in, working to the inside. But watch as this play develops. Brock Ralph coming from the other side. And, no, I think he was going for Terry Vaughn all the way. I mean, the longer that play goes, you know, guys are going to run into each other, especially when they're coming over the middle. But we just did the player of the game promo, and all of a sudden Terry Vaughn, who's certainly a great candidate, makes a huge play to keep this drive going.
Could be a historic night for Vaughn tonight. 2 to tie Darren Flutie, 3 to become the all-time reception king. Moss may have to eat it here, but he does. Throws it away. Jason Moss had nothing in the end zone, and the play did not develop from the beginning.
You know, good speed at the defensive ends for Calgary. Raheem Abdullah, Demetrius Maxey, and Terrence Patrick when they're in this 3-4. And, you know, in a 3-4, you got to get that good outside leverage. And Raheem Abdullah really did it there. I mean, he's a terrific player. 59 CFL game, 25 career sacks. So, you know, he gets a sack every 2 games. That's pretty decent production over your career.
So 2nd down and goal. 3-point game, 1:45 to go in the quarter. And a lot of motion on the line. And might this be a procedure call against Hamilton, and you can see the look on Moss's face. They've done it to themselves again.
Well, when they've been in the real scoring zone,
5-yard penalty, second down repeated.
inside the 10-yard line, they've turned the ball over on a fumble. They've had a delay of game, and now they've had a procedure call setting them back. And
look at the penalties tonight. 20 penalties in this game. We've had a lot of orange flags on the field as Jason Moss chats with Kevin Eakin. Chadrick Williams goes out. So now Moss, his team backed up. It's again 2nd and goal, but now it comes to near the 14-yard line. Flick goes to the right side. Peterson left.
And they got Pascal Charon in at the corner on the wide side of the field. In for Williams.
They look for Vaughn. No. Moss dancing. And room. Jason Moss. And he stopped short. And once again, the Ticats can't find the end zone.
And he took an enormous hit. Now he's getting up, but Calgary Stampeders taking down. I mean, you can see that develop. I mean, the coverage is so good by Calgary, and then all of a sudden, when Moss was able to use his legs to break containment, he sees a gap, and then he's off and running. And watch the hit right there. Abdullah and Cam Yao, who's in replacing Brian Clark, number 44. You're going to see it one more time here. And I think Yao is the Abdullah took a shot from his own player as well. And Raheem is up, but Cam Yao is not.
Cam Yao's down, and they attend to him. Raheem Abdullah, of course, played with Jason Moss in Edmonton. Teammates, but again, Hamilton Tiger Cat drive. They could be leading this game by 20 points.
Yeah, it could be 21-4 for sure. They've really missed some opportunities here. And again, you know, hey, Blackie, they're 0-4. I mean, the good teams don't miss those opportunities. I mean, they when they have an opportunity to put you away, they do.
So many changes, so much optimism before the season, and now this man is in charge, trying to turn things around. Tomorrow in high definition, it's game 2 of a series after the All-Star break. The Blue Jays against the Seattle Mariners. Jays trailing 5-3 in the 8th inning tonight. 4 o'clock Eastern start tomorrow from Rogers Center.
Well, you know, the Calgary Stampeders are going to get a little thin at linebacker. Brian Clark already out with the muscle cramps, and now Cam Yao. I mean, he really, as they collided, you watch Raheem Abdullah come from one side, Cam Yao comes from the other. And it was just a hit on Moss that looks like he jammed his neck.
Jason Moss, shoulder pad flapping, and Yao hits him and takes the worst of it. Good news for the Stampeders, they stop Moss, but the bad news, again, a depleted linebacking core here tonight. And injuries are starting to pile up. 1:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Seems like he's having a hard time getting his wind here.
Well, Ronnie Lancaster, when play does resume, will not gamble here. I mean, he's got 3rd and goal from the 2, and I think, you know, he's got to start at some point putting some points on the board and taking advantage of these opportunities. So he will have the newcomer Mark Myers in for his first field goal attempt as a Ticat. You know, in college at Florida Atlantic University career, he was 43 for 59. Now, in college, I can tell you that is a most impressive record. And he's been with the Cats since training camp, and this is his opportunity. Although it's, you know, if I'm starting my career, I don't mind starting with a 10-yarder or whatever it's going to be, 9-yarder.
So for a 6-point lead, just a little chip shot here for Mark Myers. And Time count violation, perhaps. What's this all about?
Sometimes in these situations, the offense will take a penalty just to move it back to get a better angle. I don't think that's what they did.
Time count violation. Hamilton, number 16. Penalty is declined. Ball will stay on the 1-yard line. Still third down.
You might as well try, and they know this is kind of a funky little angle here. It's like a penalty kick of the World Cup.
Yep.
Myers very deliberate.
Well, Rob Hitchcock did that on purpose. No question, he did that on purpose because he wants to move it back a little bit. And again, they'll decline it. So, you know, how long is this charade going to go on?
Offside. Hamilton, number 42. Penalties decline. Ball stays on the 1-yard line. Clock will start on the snap.
So here you go. He has a look. I mean, he's doing it on purpose.
Okay.
Now, can this go on indefinitely?
Well, I think the pattern's already developing, don't you think? You know, the little general will try anything. Kick is booted straight through the uprights. Smile from Lancaster. 6-point lead. And speaking of Rob Hitchcock, he's been around the Tiger Cats for a while, and here's what he had to say this week about the Greg Marshall firing.
Being close with Greg, I thought he did a very admirable job. You know, like I said, he was green on a few things, but week 4, we didn't really think it would happen. Week 4, maybe if we lost a couple more games, and maybe. But Greg's a good coach, and he'll be okay.
Well, that was a sentiment, I think, from a lot of the players here.
Yeah, kind of me too. You know, I thought, you know, heck, had one home game, and I thought 4 games might have been an early hook. And in fact that the Argos were 1-3, and you're only 2 points out of the playoffs.
Rambo on a reverse. Kenyon Rambo, and a big ramble from him to the 40-yard line of Hamilton.
Well, the Stampeders use that play very effectively. They'll run it with Copeland, they'll run it with Lewis, and now they run it with Rambo, and everything goes to the right against the grain, and they run it from the bunch formation, fake to Reynolds. The pitch influences the middle linebacker, so Brooks is gone when Rambo breaks through the line of scrimmage, and that's the guy that would have to make the play. But the pitch move influenced Brooks, and he wasn't there.
Should be the final play, barring penalty of this third quarter. Bobbled snap, Burris hangs on. Throws to the wide out, and the catch made first of the night by Brett Ralph, who tonight, of course, his brother Brock on the other side of the field. So Stampeders moving the football here. They trail by 6 as we head to the fourth quarter. Well, we don't have a lot of numbers after 3 quarters. Stats brought to you by Rona, proud league-wide sponsor of the CFL.
Well, interesting to see that the Ticats, all their 10 points coming off Calgary miscues tonight. A pretty interesting game evolving, you know, almost like a little boxing match. Nobody really trying to take control of this fight, and
a lot of sweating.
A lot of sweating. We're sweating tonight, but you know, just in the back of your mind, do you not feel like you're just waiting for Calgary to break out? And I mean, they've got a drive going to start this fourth quarter.
Well, the Hamilton Tiger Cats also, a trend here has been that they have not been able to score in second halves so far this year, and the Stampeders held to just 4 points with his high-powered offense. Pump fake. Burris. He has Rambo for the touchdown. Just like that, Kenyon Rambo puts the Stampeders in front with the point after to come. So the Stampeders finally find pay dirt here tonight.
Well, good protection for Henry Burris. It takes a lot of time when you run that punk fake to the outside. Rambo freezes the defensive back, and he's into the end zone with the first offensive touchdown for the Stampeders tonight. It took a while, but it was a pretty play.
Couple of big plays in the drive by Rambo.
Yeah, his first touchdown of the year, and you know that little tiff that they had at Edmonton a few weeks ago. I know that thing was over in a hurry. And great connection between Burris and Rambo on that play.
So the convert puts the Stampeders in front for the first time tonight.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by Castrol. It's not just motor oil, it's liquid engineering.
Hey, what up, baby? What's up? Oh, Pops. West Coast, Long Beach, what's happening with it? We pick what up? Going now, baby. Now stop. We gotta keep going, though. Gotta keep going. Points on this board.
Kenyon Rambo's first touchdown of the season has given his team a 1-point lead early in the fourth quarter in Hamilton. Sandro DeAngelis. The boot down to Corey Holmes. Holmes tripped up, and there's a flag on the play afterwards.
Blackie, let's go back and have a look at this touchdown catch by Kenyon Rambo, or was it? We're going to freeze it. Just watch the ball right there. Did it touch the ground? I mean, this happens quickly. I mean, we have the advantage of super slow right here. But see the ball hit the ground and pop.
So close.
I don't know.
Might have been reviewable, but look at that.
Again, you have a look there, and I mean, you know, and to me, always you know, obviously the slow-mo is great to really determine these things, but when you're looking at that and you're an official, or even the other team looking at this to say, well, are we going to throw the flag and have a challenge? I mean, at full speed, that's pretty tough to tell.
Gotta keep it going, baby.
Well, Rambo and Burris a few weeks ago weren't talking to each other very much. They were talking in a different tone. Terry Vaughn, again, huge night for him here. One reception away from tying Darren Flutie all time. I have a feeling the record will be broken here tonight. Lots of time left. And then Vaughn will establish a new number.
Well, and it goes to a good guy who deserves it, in my opinion. I mean, his consistency is unparalleled.
Moss taking off on 2nd and 6. And there was absolutely no opening there for him. So once again, Hamilton will have to kick the football away, and the fans here, a good crowd here tonight. They are very restless.
Well, they try the quarterback draw, and Raheem Abdullah just slices down from his defensive end spot on this. I mean, initially it looks like there's some openings, and you know they're expecting Abdullah to come straight upfield, but he goes to the inside on Ryan Donnelly, beats him easily. And that's not what Moss thought he was going to get in a pass rush. Obviously, he thought the ends would crash to the outside. They came inside.
High snap. End over ender from Fleming. Nick Lewis will hang on to it this time, but brought down at the 53-yard line. Cats come up empty. Burris back at it in a moment. Well, for every sack in tonight's game, Purolator will donate the QB's weight in food to a local food bank. Purolator, where business is going. The sack leaders so far this season, 14 for Winnipeg. Ticats now with 6. Stampeders have 10. Our sack attack brought to you by Purolator. Earlier tonight, Tim Cheatwood got to Henry Burris, and right now this Ticat defense is going to have to hold. 13 minutes to go. You have a feeling the Stampeders, after that last offensive series, finally finding a way to explode. They have the rhythm with them. Jermaine Copeland in motion. Burris on a great play action to Rambo. Rambo again. Well, Henry Burris has the benefit this year of having a guy who everyone around here loved for so many years. Danny McManus is his backup.
He's taught me so much. I mean, I've always looked for the opportunity to have a guy that I could learn from as far as who's been out there in the game. You know, I had Jeff and Dave Dickinson back in the day, but that's so far removed. And now to have a guy like Danny Mac, who to me, he still should be a starter in this league somewhere. I mean, the guy, to me, is one of the best gunslingers I've ever seen in football, period, as a quarterback, whether it's NFL, CFL, whatever league. I mean, the guy is phenomenal.
Well, he was a gunslinger, no question that Danny McManus was never afraid to put it up and never afraid to take a chance during a game, and wonderful person, wonderful guy. And you know, listen,
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and when you look at all-time passers, look where he is, #2 on the list. So for Henry Burris, you know, Henry hasn't, you know, had this for a little bit in his career, certainly not in Saskatchewan. And then when he comes over to Calgary, I think this is just a wonderful situation for him.
And Danny Mac hasn't done that for a while as well. Chart plays and have the headset on.
And you know what? I know he's very comfortable with it because Hank is, you know, Hank's such a quality guy. That makes a difference.
Burris stands in. Here comes the rush. Adriano Belli chases him out of bounds. But Henry Burris, again, evading the pressure.
Well, he has done such a good job of that this season, and when we talked to Kavis Reed, the defensive coordinator of Hamilton, before the game, he said, you know what, this is what he does exceptionally well and has done so well this year. Buy himself some extra time. Now, he's still trying to desperately throw the football, but when there are no options finally available, he picks up the first down on his own. And you know, that's the little intangible that the great running quarterbacks, and I mean running to throw quarterbacks, are able to do.
Another 1st and 10. Fakes the pitch, gives it inside. Nice play to Kenyon Rambo, but nothing there as the Ticats converge. Rambo and Cheatwood doing a little chirping here. Danny McManus, for what he did in 1999, the Grey Cup here, most outstanding player. You talk about the connection with Darren Flutie. He and Darren Flutie racked up a lot of yardage through the years.
Well, they sure did. They were a wonderful combination. You know, we talk about the connections promotion that's going on right now in every city. This was a pretty good connections right there.
Yeah, making the connection. Cholesterol awareness campaign, and Danny McManus part of that. He and Darren Flutie honored before the game. Out of bounds goes Burris. So that will bring out Sandro DeAngelis, make it a 4-point game if he can connect.
Yeah, who had a rarity tonight after 16 straight. Sandro missed one.
You know, a great story about Sandro DeAngelis back in 1994 when Danny McManus was playing in a Grey Cup, actually. DeAngelis won a punt, pass, and kick competition. He was 13 here in the Hamilton area. He beat all the other kids in Canada, got a chance to go to the Grey Cup. And look at this, years later, going to Nebraska, of course, and he really wanted to play here in Hamilton. Gave them a call, but the coaches here said no. He ends up in Calgary. He loves coming back to Iverwood. And he does a lot of that. So Sandro DeAngelis, the CFL's leading point getter, puts his team up by 4. Well, NASCAR fans of all ages on TSN on Sunday in high definition. The Lennox Industrial Tools 300, 1:30 Eastern is the start time, 10:30 on the West Coast. Rod Black, Lee Pedersen, Ryan Williams in the house here tonight, along with John Liu. Lots of time left on the clock. 14-10 Calgary Stampeders in what has not been a classic by any stretch. One of those nights. They keep booting it to Corey Holmes. Holmes trying to find a seam. Will bring it up to the 38-yard line. So Joe Papau's upstairs, and you know, their offense has been maligned, and they're not doing anything to improve that tonight.
Well, I mean, there you see it in 4 games, only 4 touchdowns. That's a tough way to win football games, and I guess the most telling stat is only 15 points a game. I mean, that is, you're not going to win a lot of CFL games at only 15, and so far tonight, with 10 minutes to go, they're still 5 points away from their average.
And that really, you know, when you think about it, in many ways spelled Greg Marshall's doom. The inability of the offense that they spent so much energy on in the offseason to revamp things. Vaughn, a bad pass from Jason Moss. Jason Moss has not been able to find his groove in a Hamilton Tiger Cat uniform.
No, he hasn't. And you know, I've said quite consistently that I think, although he's 19 for 26, pretty good numbers, you know, average-wise, percent-wise, that I think they've got to go deep. I mean, the defensive backs of Calgary are being very aggressive, and Moss was quoted as saying this week that, you know, my problems right now are throwing deep. I'm just not able to do it. And he said, this is uncharted waters for me, because throughout my whole career I've thrown deep very, very well. But, you know, for the most part, I can only think of maybe a couple of times when he's aired it out tonight. And I just think teams are sitting on his receivers.
Look out here. He is hammered. The catch is made at midfield by DJ Flick. And Moss took a lick that time.
Well, he hung in to deliver that football, and Flick worked his way open out on the sidelines. And Flick has really been the only guy to go downfield tonight. I mean, this ball is thrown about 20 yards over the line of scrimmage. Oh, and Tony Tiller's licking his chops. You know, he comes on the halfback blitz.
Left. Fourth quarter. Another
ball here, sir, please.
Penalty flag. Busiest guy in Ivor Stadium tonight, without a doubt, is number 28, Andre Proulx.
He's going to need hauls after this game.
Yes.
Procedure. Hamilton, number 11, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Boy, 24 penalties. I mean, that is, goodness gracious. And, you know, the game's tough enough at 1st and 10, but, you know, how many times tonight has Hamilton been in 1st and 15 situations through offside, procedure, time count? And, I mean, those are mental things that somehow you've got to correct.
Terry Vaughn to the right of Moss. The shovel to Holmes. Corey Holmes scoots for a first down.
Yeah, and I like that misdirection roll to the wide side of the field where you've got your trips receivers, and then just you got Holmes going to the outside. Here's Holmes right here, and then he doubles back and takes the pitch. I mean, that is some creativity that we haven't been seeing much of this year. There it is right there. Backside, you get the lead blocker, George Hudson, out in front. That is a good-looking play. Where have they been?
Wes Slizak making the tackle. On 1st and 15, they convert. Down from the 42. Moss has to roll in a hurry. Making the catch is Kamal Peterson. Looks like he gets about 4 or 5 on that play. Just seems like a lot of the plays, though, that we've done a couple of games now, they're little out patterns, little curl patterns that aren't even stretched for 10 yards, and they're a lot of second down plays, whether it's second and short or second and long.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Hamilton tonight, how many times have they really been in second and short situations? Very few, and yet Calgary has been in quite a few of those and just has 14 points. I think that is a real difference between these teams.
Quads on the left side of Moss. Goes right for a flick, and there's an interference call. And now we'll move the football. It's Kobe Reinhardt who grabbed the jersey of DJ Flick as he was going by, and that will most certainly go against Calgary.
Well, DJ Flick is a legitimate 4'2", 40 sprinter. He's got some wheels. And he faked into the post and went back to the outside. Probably Kobe Reinhardt made a smart play because Flick was going to be gone. And again, you know, see what happens. Sometimes good things happen when you air the ball out. And I think Jason Moss has to do this more.
Getting inside the red zone now. They've had some trouble this year. They've had trouble scoring in the second half. Out in the front, Terry Vaughn. Vaughn dancing. Close to a first down.
But again, the good thing on this play is, you know, he doesn't really break the tackles. He does a lot of dancing, but, you know, he gets 8 yards. And that's, we just talked about first down production and putting yourselves in good situations. That's a lot of work by Terry Vaughn to get 8, but it's a good 8.
It also ties him for #1 with Darren Flutie. The next one, you have to think it's going to come here tonight, even immediately. He gets a standing ovation.
But again, I doubt that Terry Vaughn's thinking about it or thinking about it this way, but in this kind of a game where you trail by 4 and you're trying to get off the snide, it might be kind of nice to break the record with a touchdown.
Wouldn't that be something? Well, he's done it for so many years. And continues to do it tonight. 9 catches, 80 yards.
And again, they're at the 15-yard line, so it's reasonable to think that he could.
It'll be 2nd and 3, and another injury. It's Raheem Abdullah again on the field. 7 minutes to go, and a lot of the players starting to cramp up a little bit here tonight. I wonder if that's the situation for Abdullah.
It's more like a knee issue.
Yeah, it is
at this stage. But
this has been the busiest guy on the field. Terry Vaughn for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Well, he's hadn't had a lot of yardage tonight, but he's made a lot of catches. Good catches, like that one right there. It's a pretty exciting thing. Terry Vaughn with an illustrious career, consistent career, very durable receiver. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. That's a pretty nice pack.
You know, he's not only been a durable, solid receiver, he's also pretty much won everywhere he's played, in Calgary and Edmonton, Montreal. He's been in so many Grey Cup games, has won twice. Abdullah is up and on the sidelines. So the next catch for #2 will make him #1. Holmes, look out here, Corey Holmes, touchdown, Hamilton. To the end zone. He's the only one dancing right now. And are they happy to have him back?
Well, the trade was made. Saskatchewan wanted Kerry Joseph in the dispersal draft. They didn't feel they'd get a shot at him, so they were willing to give up Corey Holmes to the Tiger Cats. Run that was, and I guess it just, to me, always begs the question, why has he not been doing this more in this game? Because his feet were so quick when he got at the line of scrimmage and through the line of scrimmage. I mean, that was just an amazing run.
Ron Lancaster wanted that football for one reason. That's Corey Holmes' first touchdown as a Hamilton Tiger Cat.
Now, that's a good thing. I mean, watch Holmes here. When he gets to the point of attack along the left side, let it go, because here it is. Hesitate, hesitate. Now the footwork to get to the outside and get to full speed in 2 steps was amazing. And again, I'd sure like to see more of that. That's a great run. The Ticats have the lead back.
Now the people in Saskatchewan know how important he was to the Rough Riders. The Rough Riders are also struggling out of the gate this year.
Can I tell you, in the bigger picture, why he's important too? He's a real character guy in the locker room as well, and that counts for a lot.
These guys, the linemen, have no idea.
Well, they don't know
no idea.
They don't
have a dance.
They square dance or something. They can't do that stuff.
Corey Holmes. Well, remember last year how he started the year in Saskatchewan. First time he touched the ball, took a kickoff back. Electrifying player and showing signs of the kind of player he was last year in Saskatchewan. And big touchdown right now puts Hamilton in front 17-14. And this is not a good scene. This is Cam Yao being loaded up into an ambulance. We saw the problems he was having earlier with his shoulder. Again, we'll try to get an update here from John Liu, but he was in real distress on the field at one point. Seemed to be having some breathing problems, so he is still being attended to and being carted off. Away in the stretcher, J.R. Ruffin. Mark Myers, high kick. Ruffin fielding it. And he finds some room. And Mark Myers makes his first tackle, but not out of bounds. But there was a flag back at the 40-yard line. So the new guy getting involved.
Well, he's had good kickoffs, too. They've been nice and deep, but the ball will come back, even though it was a nice 63-yard return by J.R. Ruffin.
Now, the last time these two teams met, remember, came down to the guy
Calgary 45, 10-yard penalty, first down.
with the toe, Sandro DeAngelis. You know, again, as crazy as it sounds, it might come down to a last-second field goal here tonight. 6:17 to go. It might be DeAngelis. It also could be the new guy.
You see, those are huge penalties. I mean, it goes 10 back, you had 63. It's like a 73-yard penalty, the net. And, I mean, at 6 minutes to go, you trail. I mean, penalties just, when you go and look at the box score of this game, you're going to focus in and say, whoa, these teams make a lot of mistakes.
Burris has been able to march his team when they have been backed up. Into the flat. Kenyon Rambo again. He's been able to get his team out of some holes and does it again.
Well, the Ticats just really turned him loose on the outside. It was just a matter of would Burris be able to find him, because the closest guy to Rambo when he caught the football was the middle linebacker, Bobby Brooks, and that's not the way it's supposed to be covered.
Again, there haven't been a lot of points put up tonight, especially after what Calgary did to Saskatchewan last year. But Henry Burris has done a really good job of moving his team from his 20-yard line to the opposite territory. Reynolds hammering for 5 or 6. Don't forget, this is just the beginning. Second game coming up. Chris Cuthbert, Glenn Suter standing by. Those Rough Riders and the BC Lions up next. Should Calgary lose this game, BC win, there's a tie for first in the West. And there could be another team, Saskatchewan, if you look at it, the way things have been going and all the off-field troubles as well. I think, you know, as much attention that was paid here to Greg Marshall and the Ticats in their struggling start, another player on the field, Devontae Peterson. I think you're going to have to start looking at Saskatchewan as well. And you know the heat is on Danny Barrett and Roy Shivers.
Well, I don't think there's any question the heat is on. I mean, they got the guy they wanted. They got Kerry Joseph, who they felt could be the consistent quarterback to get them truly in the hunt. There's no question this is their year.
Kind of funny, isn't it? Kind of funny how, you know.
I mean, in their year, I mean, they've got a year.
But Kerry Joseph and all the stuff that happened here. Danny McManus going to Calgary, the good start for the Stampeders. But Jason Moss, they get him here. They struggle out of the gate. Kerry Joseph struggles out of the gate with Saskatchewan. And you know, that happens certainly with quarterbacks coming to new teams as Peterson is up.
Especially with only 2 preseason games.
Big factor, huh?
Yeah, I think it is, because you can't replicate game conditions in practice. I don't care what they say. It's impossible, because the intensity level, the adrenaline's not running. I mean, some guys with adrenaline may be a half step faster. So, you know, sometimes for quarterbacks changing teams, it just doesn't happen overnight.
5 minutes to go. 2nd and 4. And guess what? The nylon comes out again.
Calgary 66, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Boy, oh boy, you know, we've said this how many times tonight. You get, you know, Calgary's in good situation. We got 2nd and 3, and all of a sudden, back 2nd and
8. You know, 2 guys have been very quiet in this second half, Elijah Thurman and Jermaine Copeland. They try to spring these two guys here. 2nd and 9. Burris in the pocket. Over the middle is Lewis. And what a clutch reception at the perfect time.
Well, this is pretty interesting. Sandy Beveridge knocked down Jermaine Copeland right into Nick Lewis, who had to make the catch and hop over him all in one motion. So you'll see it, Ray, the crossing routes in the middle of the screen. Copeland goes down, and Lewis goes right over the top of him to make the catch.
You know, as quiet as Thurman and Copeland have been, that's the great luxury of having a receiving core like that. Other guys can pick you up, like Nick Lewis. Like Kenyon Rambo, like Marcus Howell. Again to the sideline, and there is Jermaine Copeland.
Boy, an interesting formation, double tight ends and only 3 receivers out, and Jermaine Copeland working to the outside, and watch as he just comes, I mean, but it's the play action that really influences this, because you got double tight ends and lots of room to the outside. But again, with the double tight ends, you get maximum protection, and Henry Burris just sat tall, and nobody even close to being in his face.
Thurman is wide to the left side of Burris. Reynolds in the backfield. Stampeders still moving the football. Joffrey Reynolds plows for another first down.
Well, with the double tight ends, you expect them to run, and they do in this case. Last time they threw, so really trying to keep everybody off balance. Watch Jay McNeil. You get a block back here. Watch as he leads straight up to the hole. This is pretty. Love to watch those guards pull, and he comes out. He picks up Bobby Brooks in the middle and pushes him back. And again, your running play, 9 yards on first down. Very productive.
Yep, they're a 1 yard shy. 3-minute warning on the field. 17-14 Hamilton.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet, and by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions.
To hear. Can the Hamilton Tiger Cats get their first win of the season and their first for Ron Lancaster in his second coming as head coach. 2nd and 1 for Henry Burris. Play action to Reynolds. James Cotton giving chase. There's a first down, and Burris slides in for a first down.
Well, and this is the beauty of Henry Burris, because he's got lots of pressure. James Cotton really doesn't take the fake inside. Burris wants to throw the football, but excellent coverage, and he has to use his feet to pick up the first down. But again, James Cotton, oh, so close. He wasn't fooled at all. However, Burris, with his speed, just able to run away.
2 weeks ago, these two teams played a very sloppy, turnover-filled game that ended up in a thriller. Last-second field goal. 2:28 to go. Stamps down by 3. And 1st and 10. And Burris hangs on. And that's the kind of night it's been here. And I think you pegged it early on about the humidity. You played in weather like this and how difficult it can be to hang on to the football at times.
The biggest thing I really believe is coming from the center. I mean, the center is perspiring like crazy, and he's dripping right down on the ball. All of a sudden, you know, it comes up now. When he faked to Joffrey Reynolds there, he touched it into the jersey. The jersey's soaked, and, you know, I'm not surprised.
Big play here. 2nd and 12. 2 minutes to go. Burris on an up pattern. Kenyon Rambo wasn't ready for it. And so that means Sandro DeAngelis will have to come on to tie the ball game.
Well, again, plenty of time for Burris to throw here. Good protection up front from his crew. He steps up, and Rambo just, you know, he threw it behind him. These two have had some communication challenges this year.
Well, here comes Sandro DeAngelis, the kid from Niagara Falls down the road. Grew up a Hamilton Tiger Cat fan. Broke the Ticats' hearts a couple of weeks ago. This kick is up. And right through again. He is almost automatic, isn't he? Something else. 17 all here in Hamilton. 17 points apiece. Now to the sideline we go with 1:58 to go. Here's John Liu.
Well, guys, the Calgary Stampeders linebacking core right now is being held together with paper clips and staples. Cam Yo, who is a reserve linebacker, has been taken to the hospital. His neck was immobilized in a collar. EMS workers are saying that he felt tingling in his shoulders and neck, but they're not quite sure what it is. But there is a little bit of concern that this may be more than just a little stinger. As for Brian Clark, he injured one of his femurs, a thigh bone. He was taken to the dressing room, will not return to the game either. So, second busiest person in Ivor win tonight, Stampeders doctor. Guys.
All right, thank you, John. Best wishes to Cam Yo. And now here we go, the final 2 minutes. Sandro DeAngelis. Corey Holmes reversing field to his 35. And now Jason Moss, a guy who pulled off a lot of heroics for the Edmonton Eskimos last year's playoffs. A great last 2-minute player, if you will, a guy who could pull his team from defeat to victory. Can he do that to his team and get them the first win this year?
Well, he's completing a lot of balls tonight. I mean, his percentage is high, his yardage isn't phenomenal, but certainly from their own 36-yard line with 1:52 to go, it's plenty of time to at least get them into range. And wouldn't it be ironic if Mark Myers, the young rookie kicker, has an opportunity to try to win this game for his new team.
And there it is. Terry Vaughn is now the all-time CFL receptions leader. Terry Vaughn is the new king.
So here it is. The all-time leader. It's being announced to the crowd here, and then once again it's the same screen to Terry Vaughn, the inside receiver, block up front on George Clark. And again, Terry Vaughn has done a lot of work running the football for not a lot of yardage on these plays, but nevertheless, there it is on the scoreboard. The CFL all-time reception leader.
973 and counting. 10-catch night for Vaughn. Little slant-in pattern. Terry Vaughn now #1 all-time. Head of Darren Flutie.
Who you say is in the house tonight?
Apparently, again, for that promotion with Danny McManus. So the football is being handed over to Terry Vaughn, and he'll go with it for a while. And here we go. Another first down for the Ticats.
Well, that was a great play by Brock Ralph. When he caught the football, he was about 2 yards short, and he just rolled until he was touched. So they get the initial first down, 1:27 to go. And we don't know a whole lot about Mark Myers to know what kind of range he has. We watched him in the warm-up, and he was close to 50 yards.
With some room. 1:10 to go. Vaughn in and out of his hands.
But they are in love with this play tonight. Terry Vaughn's caught a lot of balls on these quick screens to the inside receiver.
Again, he's had 10 catches for 84 yards, the longest a 24-yarder. So averaging about 8 yards a catch. A number of them have been in the flat.
Well, there you see.
Terry Vaughn now #1 overall. Moss in some trouble. Lets it go. And a flag on the play. Some roughing in the backfield. Jason Moss got rocked. We'll see if it was a hit on the quarterback or a holding call.
Well, the Calgary players are putting a hand on the head, so it sounds like it may be going against them. If you look at Scott Cole, well, that's never really a great indicator. Well, that's huge.
Oh, an unnecessary roughness against Hamilton as well.
Well, here you see Don Grace just as the ball is being left, and he comes in and
Roughing the passer, Calgary number 7. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton 66. Penalty upset. Second number repeated.
So Jace Moss, after all that, gets the worst of it. Knock the knees, now 2nd and 10. Calgary, as Hamilton converts here, could get the football back. Moss to the sideline.
he's made 2 key second and long catches to keep this drive going, and here they run a bunch formation, trying to get a little confusion or a rub. And Brock Ralph to the sidelines because he has to stay in bounds and keep this drive going. Come right at you. So the Ticats are really only about 10-12 yards away from having at least a reasonable opportunity, and there's the young fellow. Hart probably going at a good clip right now, knowing that probably with 58 seconds to go he's going to get a chance.
Moss threw that one away again and took another hit.
Randy Chevrier, he was close to being called.
Again, we'll take you to BC Place after this one. Saskatchewan Rough Riders and Lions standing by. Second half of our Wednesday Friday night football doubleheader. A sticky night in Hamilton.
Well, they bring Corey Holmes in, and he has play from the bench, probably sent down from Joe Papo, and obviously the way he's played tonight, I think it's a pretty good idea to have Corey Holmes in there.
Yeah, they have to get 10 yards here. A field goal might be out of the question if they don't. That will be downfield, almost picked off for DJ Flick, which means that Pat Fleming will have to come out and punt it away, and Henry Burris will have about 40 seconds or so to get Sandro DeAngelis back in position to do it again to the Ticats.
Well, again, that pass play didn't look overly crisp downfield. It was almost like a hook shot to the outside. Really, Jeever didn't really look like he was in the right spot. Moss was expecting something to happen, never did.
49 seconds to go. Nick Lewis back. Tie game, 17 apiece. Low snap. Fleming has to let it go. Sends Lewis. Got it. Back to his 5. And a long way to go. 100 yards now to the end zone. About 60 into field goal position for Henry Burris.
Well, I think right now Henry Burris is thinking it's his own 10-yard line. If we get overtime, probably in our favor, being the better offense. 39 seconds to go. My guess is right here. You run Joffrey Reynolds and you see what you get on first down. You need to get some breathing space, because the worst thing you want to do is just, eat up the 39 seconds.
Those soccer-style shoes. Guy who grew just down the road. The QBW in Niagara Falls. Arizona shotgun, though. And throws it to the third row. 30 seconds to go, and this play here is big now.
Well, what's interesting is that Hamilton still has timeout, I believe, in the second half. So, after this play, if it's incomplete or they don't get the first down, they will not let the punter take 20 seconds off the clock.
Not only that, if it does become a third down play, Burke Dales has to probably go near his end zone to punt it to Corey Holmes.
I mean, this is huge.
Great play on both sides here. A yard or two shy of the first down, and with 24 seconds left on the clock.
And Hamilton immediately calls timeout, which is the right thing. They would not let the... So there's plenty of time, and Burke Dale's going to have to launch one pretty good.
And again. He to launch into number 3. Just took Hamilton to the end zone not too long ago. Ailes is going to have to kick this away from about his 5-yard line.
See, on that first down play, when you go back and you look at the strategy the Stampeders used, like the incomplete pass stops the clock. It was, hindsight's 20/20, but that's why I like to run to Reynolds, because you keep it going at least.
Setting up the return, and a terrible kick. Here comes.
Smart play by Ray Marius. Ray Marius picked it up right away, and hey, they're there right now, plus 15.
That's a no-yards call, which puts them to field goal position with 14 seconds to go. Chance for Moss to move it down a little more into a better position for Mark Myers. New kicker on the block in Hamilton, and how about that by Ray Marius?
Yeah, he's a great linebacker. He's a great special teams player. He was when his years in Toronto and moved over to Hamilton this year. And for Burke Dales, disaster.
No yards. Calgary 37. 5-yard penalty. First down.
5-yard penalty. Let's take a look again.
Wow, that's the technique. He's trying to go a little left with it. It just shanks. That was not pretty. So what do you do now if you're Jason Moss? This is a 47-yarder right now. You got 14 seconds to go. I guess you're running.
I think you're thinking about just hanging on. Again, they've had a couple of problems hanging on to football earlier tonight.
So 11 seconds to go. They will come in now because on second down, and the reason being, if they have a legal procedure or any sort of 5-yard or any kind of penalty, they still save it down to go back.
So Mark Myers, who yesterday turned 24 years old, called up into Hamilton out of Florida, just working out, practicing. Jamie Bourne has had his troubles.
In the end zone there, Jermaine Copeland, he's back there. Jermaine Chapman, he's back there. And their purpose, if the kick's missed, is to make sure they get it out or kick it out.
For their first win of the year, the kick is up.
You got it.
Cats pull it off. And to turn a boot is fair play.
Oh, mercy. Well, Tiger Cats certainly played well enough on defense tonight to win this football game. And for Calgary, when they look back on this season and look back at this game, they'll say this was one of these ones that we probably had a great opportunity to win. But give credit to the Ticats. They hung in. The young fellow, Mark Myers, made a great kick under pressure. Good for them.
2 weeks ago, Sam DeAngelis won it for the Stampeders, and the Tiger Cats this time around get a game-winning field goal on the final play of the game for the Little General.
And look at Ronnie there. What a way to come back and take over. And
you know who's also smiling right now? Greg Marshall.
Yeah, I think he is. And if he's listening, we wish him the best. And I'm right, he is smiling too.
Top Cats break the Crusade. They have win number 1 of 2006.
Hi, may I take your order?
I'd like a classic single combo, but